Chapter 1692. Almost all the pill store representatives had gathered around. When they saw the 3 bottles of king pills that Qin Feng took out, their jaws dropped to the ground. Sway_Ming. Qin Feng, my disciple, what are you all doing? Su Xuanfei was shocked to see Qin Feng and the other 2 standing among the crowd. Su Baizhen hurriedly explained what had happened, and Elder Su's expression turned cold. These people from Treasure Pill Pavilion were looking for trouble, and he approved of Qin Feng's actions. But at this moment, someone had already guessed Qin Feng's identity. I know who that young hero is. He's a new disciple that Elder Su took in not long ago. That's right. That person is called Qin Feng. So it's him. Rumor has it that he was accepted as Elder Su's disciple because he gave the violet flame to him. I also heard that Qin Feng is a grade 3 6th grade golden pill master who passed the Elixir Association's test. Then how did he manage to refine king pills? Could it be that those king pills were refined by Elder Su and he was only entrusted to him for safekeeping? The crowd was filled with all sorts of speculations. Recalling that Elder Su was one of the representatives from Square Tower, many people understood what was going on with the 3 bottles of king pills. Perhaps those were the pills that Elder Su was going to use in the competition, and he had just entrusted them to Qin Feng for safekeeping. All right. Everyone, please disperse. Elder Su is a grade 3 7th grade pill king, so there's nothing strange about him refining 3 bottles of king pills. Someone shouted, and many of the spectating cultivators retreated back to their own areas. After all, the Elixir Plaza meet was about to begin, and it wasn't appropriate for them to gather here. Qin Feng didn't think much of the crowd's erroneous speculations. In fact, this was a good thing. If not for the fact that he wanted to teach Liu Beidong a lesson, he would have kept a low profile. Seeing that everyone had dispersed, Liu Beidong lowered his head and prepared to slip away, but a large hand grabbed his shoulder. White Sugar, where are you going? Qin Feng asked with a smile. Liu Beidong was furious, but he had lost the competition, so he didn't have the confidence to do so. Why do you care? Let go of me. Of course I don't care where you're going, but you called Grand Aunt and Grand Aunt over before leaving. Are you trying to cheat us? Liu Beidong was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. He never thought that he would be the loser. It was impossible for him to call her young master or great aunt in public. But if he didn't, then he would lose the bad reputation of being a disciple of the Treasure Pill Pavilion who didn't keep his word. And this was extremely difficult for him. The pill store conference is about to begin. Why are you still standing there? But at this moment, Master Li suddenly roared. The disciples of the 4-way tower looked at him in surprise, not understanding what he meant. Liu Baitong's eyes flashed with joy, but he quickly hid it. Your great elder has spoken. Hurry up and let me go. Su Baizhen and Su Ru looked at each other blankly. Qin Feng didn't expect Guru Pair to step forward at this time, but he didn't let go. With a resolute expression, he said, It'll only take a few seconds for you to call me young master. It won't take too long. Liu Beitong clenched his fists and looked like he was about to fight Qin Feng. Nonsense. Quickly let go of him and return to the group. Guru Pair's expression was cold, and everyone was confused. Elder Su couldn't stand it anymore. He stepped forward and said, Guru Pair, this is a matter between juniors. Why do you have to interfere? Guru Pair didn't know why he was so angry. It's precisely because they're juniors that I have to interfere. They represent the image of the 4-way tower. How can they fight here? Disciple Baizhen has already explained the situation very clearly. It was that junior from the Treasure Pill Pavilion who came looking for trouble. Is our 4-way tower going to swallow our anger and let them bully us? Elder Su didn't back down this time. Su Baidan also walked over and looked at Guru Pair with a puzzled expression. Senior brother, what's wrong? The Treasure Pill Pavilion has always been at odds with our 4-way tower, and there have been many small conflicts between our disciples. This time, Qin Feng and the other 2 have helped our 4-way tower regain its reputation. This is a good thing. Seeing that Su Baizhen and Su Baidan had the same attitude, Guru Pair suddenly flicked his sleeves and left, leaving everyone confused. After Guru Pair left, despair flashed across Liu Baitong's eyes. He knew that he couldn't escape this time. It was better to get the pain over with than to prolong it. "Granduncle, grandaunt, I'll take my leave." After saying that, he turned and left. Before he could take 2 steps, Suru-Er's laughter came from behind him. "Little grandson, Grandma will give you a red packet after the new year." Liu Beidong staggered and almost fell. A cold glint flashed across his eyes, and he swore to himself that he would teach Qin Feng and Suru-Er a lesson. Suru-Er had long been annoyed by Liu Beidong. Today, Qin Feng had helped her vent her anger, and she was so happy that Liu Beidong called her grandaunt and Qin Feng granduncle. Weren't they a couple now? However, Suru-Er didn't notice this. All the pill stores were ready. There was a long table in the center of the round stage, and 4 seniors were sitting there. These 4 people's main responsibility wasn't to evaluate the pills, but to maintain order. Now, almost all the pill stores in the northern Sand Continent, big and small, were gathered here. There would be countless pills at the conference, and if someone came to snatch them, it would be a big problem. There's also a beautiful host at the table, and she was giving an opening speech. "Fellow cultivators, today's pill conference officially begins. Let me first introduce this year's guests. Sitting at the southernmost is the city lord of Broken Flower City, Senior Yang Batian. Next to him is Tong Yang Commerce's president, Senior Yang Tong. Among the 8 supremes of the northern Sand Continent, there's only rogue senior, Sage Zhang. Rumor has it that Sage Zhang has already stepped into spirit detecting level 7. He's really a role model for us juniors to follow. I'm sure everyone has heard of the last one. He's the president of the Northern Sand Continent's Pill Association, Senior Long. Every time someone was introduced, there would be exclamations. The identities of these 4 guests were each more powerful than the last, and even Qin Feng was shocked by them. Senior Brother Bai Zhan, the host, introduced the 4 guests according to their prestige, right? Sage Zhang is one of the 8 supremes of the Northern Sand Continent, and his identity is very powerful. Does that mean that Senior Long is even more powerful than him? Qin Feng knew too little about the Northern Sand Continent. Su Baizhen looked at him in surprise and said, "You don't know Senior Long? He's the #1 alchemist in the Northern Sand Continent, and he's above the 4 great pill stores. Although Senior Long doesn't belong to any of the pill stores, his reputation is much higher than any of them. That's why he's the president of the Pill Association. Even our 4-way tower is nothing in front of him." Qin Feng was shocked when he heard this. It turned out that this Senior Long had such an illustrious identity. Chapter 1693. After understanding the situation, Qin Feng was speechless. However, the Northern Sand Continent was the most backward continent in the Divine Supreme Continent. One could imagine how many experts there were in the other 3 continents. Although Qin Feng's cultivation was unparalleled among his peers, he still felt a strong sense of urgency. He had to face the entire Divine Supreme Continent. He only found out about Hua Xianyu's whereabouts during the Fallen God Sea expedition. He had to find a way to go to the South Flat Continent as soon as possible. At this moment, the guests were introduced, and the 4 seniors gave their speeches. The Pill Workshop Conference officially entered the pill refining segment. In fact, this conference was not mainly about competing in elixirs. It was about recommending their own elixirs. The Pill Workshop's representatives went up to the stage. The rest of the elders and core disciples stood at the back. This was supposed to be a normal segment, but there was a sudden burst of exclamations. "Look! The Square Tower only sent 2 representatives this year. What's the meaning of this? It's not 2, it's obviously 3. Why didn't Senior Su Xuanfei go up?" His disciple went up instead. As the #1 pill workshop in the Northern Sand Continent, the Square Tower's every move was closely watched. Su Baidan looked embarrassed as he listened to everyone's discussion. He still didn't understand what junior brother Su Xuanfei was thinking. As for Guru Li, he looked gloomy as if someone owed him 5 million spiritual stones. "Step down. Since Su Xuanfei doesn't want to compete, junior brother Baidan and I are enough," Guru Li said coldly to Qin Feng. Qin Feng didn't like the old man, so he didn't back down. "I'm representing Master. You have no right to make me withdraw." Guru Li didn't expect Qin Fen to talk back to him. His eyes widened in anger. Bastard! Who do you think you are? How dare you disobey my orders? Who do you think you are? I'm only respecting you for Master's sake. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Fine. Fine. You're going against your superior. You deserve it if I slap you to death now. A strong gust of wind gushed out of Guru Li's body. Qin Fen didn't back down and secretly circulated the creation scripture. Seeing that a fight was about to break out, Su Baidan quickly stepped in between them. He looked strangely at Sage Pear and said, "Senior brother, did you take the wrong medicine today? Since junior brother Su Xuanfei has decided to give up his qualification to Qin Feng, then the two of us have no right to object. Why must you quarrel with your own people?" Guru Li angrily glared at Qin Feng, then turned her head and said nothing more. Su Baijin and Su Ru'er, who were below the stage, saw this scene. Their faces turned cold, and they became prejudiced against Master Pear. The Elixir Workshop assembly has begun. Everyone, please be quiet and take out the elixirs you want to display. Seeing that the situation was getting a little chaotic, Senior Dragon shouted. A ferocious aura shook the field, suppressing the crowd and causing them to quieten down. Naturally, the small elixir clinics would start with the big elixir clinics. After all, the big elixir clinics and even the 4 big elixir clinics were used as the finale. Fellow Taoists, our herbal school will be releasing 6 rare medicinal pills this time. There's the 100 recovery pill, the rainbow cloud pill, the elemental pill. Although the 1000 medicine school is only a small elixir clinic in the North Sand Continent, the elixirs we refine are definitely good products. For the same type of elixir, the 1000 medicine school uses a sufficient amount of medicinal ingredients, high quality, and takes a longer time to refine, so that the medicinal properties of the medicinal ingredients can be more fully integrated into the elixir. This time, we have brought 4 types of fairly common elixirs. Everyone can consume them for free. If you think they are good, you can come to the 1000 medicine school to purchase them. One by one, the elixir clinics began to take turns to promote elixirs. Only then did Qin Feng realize the nature of today's Elixir Workshop assembly. To put it bluntly, it was a product launch. Although he was in the Divine Mainland, Qin Feng felt like he was in a Chinese shopping mall. The marketing strategies of the big elixir clinics were different. Some took out rare elixirs to attract cultivators, while others took out the most common elixirs in an attempt to dominate the market with quality and price. However, these were only the battles of the low-level elixir clinics. Giants like the 4 big elixir clinics did not care about them at all. So what if their elixirs were expensive? A brand was enough to suppress them. This was similar to the brand effect on Earth. Of the same products, the brand was more powerful. After Qin Feng realized this, he lost interest in the elixirs recommended by the other elixir clinics. His attention was mainly focused on the other 3 big elixir clinics. They were the ones that could threaten the Square Tower, especially the Treasure Pill Tower. According to his master, they had introduced a type of elixir that could recover one's consciousness. It would definitely cause a commotion. Time flew, and it was time for the battle between the big elixir clinics. The elixirs recommended were of a higher grade. The lowest was a 6th grade golden elixir, and there were even a few king elixirs. The surrounding cultivators were in an uproar. As one precious elixir after another was introduced, waves of screams rose. However, Qin Feng glanced at the representatives of the 4 big elixir clinics. His expression was calm, and there was even a hint of disdain. Clearly, he did not care about the big elixir clinics. It's here, it's here. The battle between the 4 big elixir clinics is finally here. Awesome. I love watching the battles between the 4 big elixir clinics the most. Even though there's no sword or saber, it's more exciting than the battles on the battlefield. I still remember the Pill Square meet 3 years ago. Master Li of the 4-Way Tower introduced the Dragon Bone Pill, which became one of the most outstanding pills in the Pill Square meet. It also made the 4-Way Tower even more famous, allowing it to secure its position as the #1 Pill Square. I wonder what kind of surprise Master Li will bring to everyone this time. I'm really looking forward to it. Before the elixirs of the 4 big elixir clinics were brought out, The crowd was already in an uproar. Even Yang Tong and the other two were excited. Senior Long, on the other hand, was sitting calmly as if he was in a different world. First, the elixir clinic began to display the elixirs. They also sent out 3 alchemist representatives, but the elixirs were placed together, and Elder Feng Yun introduced them alone. Fellow Taoists, this time, the elixir clinic will introduce 4 types of elixirs. They're the full star elixir, Qilin elixir, Bodhi elixir, and insight elixir. Whoosh! The crowd suddenly erupted. These 4 elixirs were extremely rare, and they were hard to find. There's actually a full star elixir. This is required for a Buddha Light intermediate stage cultivator to break through. I wonder how many cauldrons the Treasure Pill Pavilion has refined this time. I'm looking for the Qilin elixir. It said that eating this elixir will allow one to temporarily obtain the body of a Qilin. When a Buddha Light realm cultivator breaks through, it can withstand the lightning tribulation. If eaten during a battle, it can also greatly increase one's defense. There's actually a Bodhi elixir. This is an extremely rare elixir that can purify a cultivator's spirit root. The spiritual insight elixir is also very powerful. This is the upgraded version of the level 3 and level 6 golden elixir. It's a level 1 king elixir, and it can greatly strengthen a cultivator's divine sense. Chapter 1694. It wasn't just the cultivators outside who were excited. Even the disciples of the other pill workshops couldn't sit still. Normally, each of these pills was extremely rare. Now that 4 of them were gathered together, it was a feast for the eyes. However, from the expressions of the representatives from Immortal Grassgate and Treasure Pill Dispensary, they didn't seem to care. The influence of the 4 pill workshops was indeed extraordinary. Because of the appearance of the elixir gathering, the atmosphere inside and outside the venue reached an unprecedented climax. At this moment, an old man from Immortal Grassgate walked out and said in a loud voice, "Since Elder Feng Yun of the Elixir Gathering has finished his display, I will represent Immortal Grassgate to show my incompetence." This time, Immortal Grassgate only brought 1 type of pill, because we have all the pills that the other pill workshops can refine. However, the pill that we brought is something that the other pill workshops probably can't refine. His words piqued everyone's curiosity. Tens of thousands of pairs of eyes looked towards Immortal Grassgate's display table. Elder Xia Ji had a proud expression as he slowly opened the jade bottle. Whoosh! A rich pill aroma instantly filled the entire venue, causing the crowd to exclaim in surprise. What pill did Immortal Grassgate bring? Just from the aroma, I can tell that it's not simple. Is there anyone who wants to bet with me? This is at least a level 3, level 7 Imperial pill. As expected of one of the 4 pill workshops in the Northern Sand region. Their pill refining abilities are not something that the other pill workshops can compare to. Hearing the heated discussion, Xia Ji's proud expression became even more intense. He didn't keep everyone in suspense. He held a light green pill in a skinny hand and looked at it carefully, as if it was a peerless treasure. Fellow cultivators, Immortal Grassgate is untalented. This time, I will take out a heavenly spiritual pill to show my incompetence. Xia Ji's melodious voice was clearly heard by all the cultivators. After a second of silence, there was a commotion like a nuclear explosion. Heavenly spiritual pill? What a domineering name. But what grade is this pill? What effect does it have? Am I seeing things? It's actually a level 9, level 7 Imperial pill. Rumor has it that with this pill, a cultivator with 9 changes of Buddha's aura can definitely step into the spirit detecting stage. There were still some people who recognized the Supreme Spirit pill. After a round of introductions, the crowd became even more excited. Although most of the cultivators were still in the Saint King realm, and no one knew when they would be able to step into the Buddha Light realm, who didn't want to obtain that connecting Heaven Spirit pill. At worst, he would just keep it on him for now. There would come a day when he would break through to the spirit detecting realm. Even the 3 guests stood up in shock. Although they had reached the spirit detecting realm, they could give this pill to their disciples or grandchildren. What's more, The heaven-connecting spirit pill was close to an immortal pill. Even a spirit-detecting realm cultivator's cultivation would increase greatly after eating it. In the entire venue, only Senior Long was still sitting calmly, as if divine spirit pills were as common as rice in his eyes. Haha, I've already heard from fellow Taoist who recognized this divine spirit pill. That fellow Taoist is correct. This is indeed a rank 9, rank 7 king pill. Since our immortal herb tower can take out such a high-grade pill, it means that we can also refine other pills. If fellow Taoists need any pills in the future, feel free to come to Immortal Herb Tower to purchase them. Xie Ji was quite business-minded, and her strategy was very successful. The 4 pills introduced by the Spirit Pill Association had long been forgotten by everyone. Although there were king pills among them, they were a bit inferior compared to Immortal Herb Tower's rank 9, rank 7 king pill. Immortal Herb Tower's side was proud of themselves, while the Spirit Pill Association's elders all had serious expressions on their faces. It was difficult for the atmosphere to calm down for a while. Cultivators' eyes glowed green, all of them wishing they could snatch the divine spirit pill. However, the Treasure Pill Pavilion representatives were only surprised for a moment at first, but now their expressions were calm, as if they didn't care about the divine spirit pill at all. After a long time, the venue finally quieted down a bit. Lu Mandan, the Treasure Pill Pavilion's general representative, cleared her throat and said, "Fellow Taoists, please calm down. Fellow Taoists, please calm down." The divine spirit pill that Elder Xie Ji of the Immortal Grass Gate took out was truly an eye-opener. However, the Treasure Pill Pavilion is well prepared this time, so the pills they will display will definitely not disappoint everyone. The crowd's hearts were beating wildly. They had not come to this year's Pill Pavilion convention in vain. It is said that every time Senior Lu Mandan refines a pill, she will always form a full pill, hence the name. Looking at Senior Lu Mandan's expression, she doesn't seem to care about the Immortal Herb Tower's divine spirit pill. It seems like Treasure Pill Pavilion has a big move up their sleeves this time. Senior Lu, hurry up and display the pill. Everyone can't wait any longer. The venue that had finally quieted down with great difficulty erupted again. Lu Mandan stood with her hands clasped behind her back with a calm smile on her face. This time, the Immortal Herb Tower representatives began to feel nervous. They didn't know if Lu Mandan was just putting on an act, or did Treasure Pill Pavilion really have a trump card? Fellow Taoist, before I display the pill, I want to ask everyone a question. Lu Mandan wasn't in a hurry, as if she was intentionally keeping everyone in suspense. What kind of pill does everyone think is a true supreme grade pill? The venue suddenly fell silent. This question was very profound, and it stunned all the cultivators present. A few voices suddenly emerged. Senior Lu, I personally believe that the higher the grade of the pill, the more supreme it is. Just like how an imperial pill is compared to a golden pill, the latter is a supreme grade pill. This kind of understanding is a bit tacky. I feel that the rarer the pill, the more supreme it is. For example, although some pills are of golden pill quality, but their rarity far surpasses some imperial pills, so these kinds of pills are much more supreme than imperial pills. Senior Lu, in your opinion, what kind of pill is a supreme grade pill? Everyone had different opinions. Lu Mandan nodded with a smile and calmly said, "Actually, there are many cultivators who think the same as me. In my opinion, the rarer the pill, the more supreme it is. Because these pills are rare, some are because their pill recipes have been lost, some are because the medicinal ingredients required to concoct the pill are extremely precious, and there are also some pills that are difficult to form due to the complexity of the refining process. In addition, the pill's medicinal properties must be incomparably powerful. If both are present at the same time, then it will become a supreme grade pill. And this time, our Treasure Pill Pavilion is mainly promoting this type of supreme grade pill. Perhaps the grade of our pill can't compare to the Immortal Herb Tower's Divine Spirit Pill, but the rarity and strength of its medicinal properties is absolutely not something that the Divine Spirit Pill can compare to. The more Lu Mandan spoke, the more mysterious it became, and everyone's curiosity was completely aroused. Senior Lou, don't keep us in suspense. Quickly let everyone see the pill your treasure pill pavilion is releasing. All right, then I'll show you my incompetence. This is a bottle of vitality pills. I wonder if anyone has heard of it. Lou Mandan waved his hand, and 3 round pills flew out from the jade bottle and landed in his palm. The pill fragrance was quite rich, but it was not as exaggerated as the immortal Herb Tower's divine spirit pill. Moreover, most of the cultivators were at a loss when they heard the name of the vitality pill. Master, this is the treasure pill pavilion's trump card? Su Baijin's brows were tightly knitted together. Su Xuanfei had long received news that the treasure pill pavilion would be releasing a type of pill that could repair one's divine sense, but he had no idea what it was exactly. After seeing the vitality pill, Elder Su's expression became flustered. He knew that the treasure pill pavilion was definitely going to lose this year's Pill Square conference. Chapter 1695. Master, what is the vitality pill? Even Su Ruer was hearing about it for the first time. Su Xuanfei sighed. Sigh. Who asked the treasure pill house to be able to get their hands on the pill recipe of the vitality pill? It's not a loss. This vitality pill is a miraculous pill that can nourish and restore one's divine sense. It disappeared from the northern sand region decades ago. I thought it would never appear again, but who would have thought that it would resurface today? Su Baijin and Su Ruer's expressions changed after a simple introduction of the vitality pill's effects. Everyone knew that once cultivators reached the Saint King stage, they would start to cultivate their divine sense from the Qi cultivation stage. Divine referred to the cultivator's divine sense. A true duel between experts was a battle of the strength of one's divine sense. A late-stage Buddha-lite cultivator might not even need to make a move. Just by relying on their powerful divine sense, they could instantly kill a low-level immortal Qi cultivator or even an early-stage Saint King cultivator. Apart from that, there were many other uses for divine sense. Whether it was a blacksmith, alchemist, or formation master, they all needed a strong divine sense as a foundation. If the vitality pill really appeared in the northern sand continent, wouldn't everyone be able to strengthen their divine sense and become an alchemist? The expressions of the representatives from the other 3 pill shops changed. The 3 guests were shocked. Even Senior Long, who had been sitting calmly, had a flash of light in his eyes. The effects of the vitality pill were too powerful. Its reappearance would be recorded in the history of the northern sand continent's medicinal development. What kind of medicinal pill is this? Many cultivators did not know. However, there were a few cultivators who had heard of the vitality pill. It's the vitality pill? It can nourish and repair divine sense. What? Is it really that effective? Some time ago, my divine sense was damaged in a battle, and I couldn't find a way to repair it. This will affect my future breakthroughs. Now that I have the vitality pill, doesn't that mean my divine sense can be repaired? That's amazing. Just like what Senior Lou said, this is a true, supreme-grade medicinal pill. Before this, there were no medicinal pills that could repair divine sense in the northern sand continent. Even the consciousness pill and the spiritual pill alliance's spiritual pill alliance could only strengthen divine sense. However, strengthening and repairing were 2 completely different concepts. If there really was a pill that could repair one's divine sense, high-level cultivators would no longer have to worry about their divine sense being damaged during fights. Senior Lou, can you mass-produce the vitality pills? What grade of pill was this? What's the price? Many cultivators couldn't wait and planned to buy the pills on the spot. Lou Mandan was filled with complacency at this scene, while the other pill shops were frowning, but they couldn't do anything about it, and even they wanted to buy the vitality pills from the Treasure Pill Pavilion. Ha! Be patient, everyone. Actually, the grade of the vitality nourishing pill isn't that high. It's only a Class 3, Grade 7 King pill. It can't even compare to the Class 9, Grade 7 King pill, the Heavenly Spirit pill that the Immortal Grassgate released. Lou Mandan didn't forget to make a dig at Immortal Grass School when she was praising herself. Although she was angry, Xia, Ji couldn't even say a word to refute. Although the grade of the divine elixir was higher, but its medicinal effect was only ordinary breakthrough function compared to the nourishing spirit elixir, which could restore the spiritual sense. It was worlds apart. So it's a king pill. The price must not be cheap. Even if it's expensive, I'm going to sell everything I have to buy one. The spiritual sense is the most important thing for high-level cultivators. Otherwise, how can I talk about cultivation? The crowd was in an uproar. Lu Mandan spoke again. Currently, our treasure pill pavilion hasn't set a price for the vitality nourishing pill, but it's a king pill after all, so the price won't be too low, but we won't set a sky-high price either. Also, because the herbs required to refine the vitality nourishing pill are extremely precious, we can't mass produce it for the time being. If everyone needs this pill, you could go to the treasure pill pavilion to make a reservation. Also, the treasure pill pavilion has many other pills that everyone can buy. Qin Feng suddenly realized that the elders of the 4 major pill shops were all business people. If they were to be dragged to earth, they might become the next Gates and Ma Yun. While everyone was shocked, only Qin Feng's face was indifferent. In his eyes, the vitality-nourishing pill was really nothing, and there were even records of this pill recipe. In fact, Qin Feng had a few other pill recipes that could repair the spiritual sense, and they were definitely not any worse than the vitality-nourishing pill. Ever since he had obtained it, Qin Feng's understanding of pills had undergone a qualitative change. It wasn't that the higher the grade of the pill, the better it was, but the simpler the refining process, the more common the herbs needed, and the better the medicinal properties. Only a pill that met these 3 requirements could be considered a true top-quality pill. For example, the refining herbs of a Yangshan pill were extremely precious, and the refining process was also relatively complicated. However, the refining process and the required spirit grass were much easier to refine for the other Dan recipes to repair divine sense. The refining process was only of the gold pill quality, but the medicinal properties would not be worse than the Yangshan pill. This kind of Dan was more outstanding. Qin Feng didn't say anything. He first watched Lu Mandan act cool, and when he was done, he would take out the spirit-charging pill to slap his face. Sigh. It can't be mass-produced. There are trillions of cultivators in the northern sand region. When will it be my turn? It seems like the vitality pill will become the new favorite of the big families and sections. It seems like we have no fate with it. Even so, the appearance of the vitality nourishing pill is enough to shock the pill world. I think this year's Pill Workshop Conference will be a special event for the Treasure Pill Tower. Who knows, after today, the Treasure Pill Tower might even replace the Square Tower as the #1 pill workshop. It's too early to say that. The Square Tower isn't just for show. Perhaps Sage Pear will bring us an even greater surprise. When the commotion died down, Lu Mandan looked in the direction of the Square Tower with a playful expression. However, he was mainly looking at the 100 void pills. He seemed to have no interest in Master Pear. Hee. Our Treasure Pill Pavilion's pills have already been released, so let's have the elders of the 4-way tower bring more surprises to everyone. Lu Mandan's words were pleasant to hear, but everyone could hear the pride and fearlessness in his heart. Su Baidan and Masterly pulled a long face. When they saw the Vitality Elixir, they knew that they were going to lose the Elixir Workshop Conference. The spirit-nourishing pill released by the Treasure Pill Pavilion is indeed amazing. It even surprised me. I announced my withdrawal from the competition. I don't want to come out and embarrass myself. Masterly suddenly spoke, and her words caused the crowd to exclaim in shock. Fuck, they're withdrawing from the competition just like that? Is the Square Tower finished? They don't even have the courage to show off their pills. The Square Tower has really fallen. Isn't there still Senior Su Baidan? Maybe he's just here to support them. Chapter 1696. Senior brother, what are you doing? How can you withdraw from the competition? Su Baidan glared at Guru Li angrily. Ever since this morning, Guru Li had been behaving strangely. Sui Ming. La. Even Elder Lu of Great Elixir Pavilion has taken out the Vitality Pill. Why are we still fighting? Our 4-corner tower is not as good as before, and I didn't bring any good pills this time. Why should we embarrass ourselves by taking them out? Guru Li said matter-of-factly. The disciples of Four Corner Tower were stunned. Was this guy even a member of Four Corner Tower? Why was he boosting their morale and lowering theirs? Why would you have such thoughts? This is preposterous to the extreme. Even if we lose in the end, we can't withdraw from the competition. Withdrawing from the competition is the act of a coward. Even if Four Corner Tower has withdrawn from the competition, it shouldn't be to that extent. Su Baidan was enraged, and he began to argue with Guru Li. At this moment, Su Xuanfei walked up and advised, "Senior brothers, please stop arguing. It's not good for Four Corner Tower. Guru Li, why don't you take out the pills you prepared for everyone to see? If we lose, we won't blame anyone." "That's right, Senior Li. Our Four Corner Tower can afford to lose." The disciples all came up to dissuade Guru Li. She waved her sleeves angrily and shouted, "That's enough. All of you stand down. Our Four Corner Tower will present the pills." The crowd immediately looked over. But after such a commotion, everyone's expectations had plummeted. Everyone could tell that Four Corner Tower had no more trump cards. Master Pear was the first to demonstrate. He took out 2 jade bottles, and when he took out the pills, the crowd erupted in an uproar. What? A bottle of golden sage pills and a bottle of golden jade pills? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Fuck, they really are golden sage pills and golden jade pills. These are just low-grade golden pills. How can they be so shameless as to take them out at the pill store conference? I've long heard rumors that Bright Moon Tower's Tower Master is in seclusion, and the remaining alchemists have left. Four Corner Tower is no longer what it used to be. I thought it was just a rumor, but it seems to be the truth. No wonder Senior Guru Li wanted to withdraw from the competition. Taking out such low-grade pills is really embarrassing. When a pill was displayed, all the disciples of the Four Square Tower were stunned. Su Baidan and Su Xuanfei's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. They were well aware of Guru Li's alchemy level. Even if she closed her eyes and casually refined a few cauldrons of elixirs, it would still be impossible for her to reach this level. "Master Pear, what the hell are you doing?" Su Baidan was enraged. No matter how stupid he was, he could tell that something was fishy. Master Pear said calmly, "What can I do? This is the standard of our Four Square Tower. Otherwise, what kind of pills do you expect me to take out? You must be the mole. Su Baidan, if you don't have any evidence, don't accuse an innocent person. I, Guru Li, have been working for the Four-Way Tower for 5 years, and during that time, I have refined countless pills for the Four-Way Tower. Moreover, it was my pills that made the Four-Way Tower even more famous in the last pill store conference." "Oh, I get it now. Aren't you thinking that I'm not a true disciple of the Four-Way Tower and that I'm just an itinerant cultivator who joined the Four-Way Tower halfway through? Are you trying to kick me out now that I've outlived my usefulness? All right, as long as you say the word, I, Guru Li, will immediately scram. I won't even be able to serve you guys anymore." Guru Li spoke with a straight face. Her aggrieved look was even worse than that of a little girl. The crowd was in chaos. They didn't expect to see the exciting scene of internal strife in the #1 pill store of the Northern Sand region at the pill store conference. What a person with the surname Li. To think that our Four-Way Tower has treated you so well. Junior brother Xuanfei and I have always given in to you. I didn't expect you to really betray the Four-Way Tower. You're worse than a beast. I'll fight it out with you. Su Baidan was sure that Guru Li had really betrayed the Four-Way Tower. There was an 80% chance that she had sided with the Treasure Pill Tower. A violent aura burst out from his body, but it was stopped by Su Xuanfei. "Senior brother Baidan, don't be rash. This is not a place for fighting." Although he hated Guru Li, Elder Su was more sensible. There were still 4 guests guarding the venue. All 4 of them were spirit-detecting realm experts. If a fight really broke out here, the Four-Way Tower would definitely be charged with disturbing the order of the venue and kicked out. Good. You've really raised an ingrate. Aren't you afraid of the wrath of heaven?" Su Baidan retracted his aura, but he still couldn't help but curse. Guru Li had a smug look on her face and completely ignored Su Baidan. No one had expected things to turn out like this. The scene became chaotic. Senior Long, who had been sitting calmly all this time, suddenly said, "Everyone, please be quiet. Representatives of the four-way tower, will you continue to promote the elixirs? If there are no more elixirs to promote, then today's elixir store meet will be over." Su Baidan was very unwilling, but he had no way to vent his anger. He was not in the mood to show off his elixirs. Even if he did, it wouldn't be comparable to the vitality pill that the treasure pill tower had brought out. Moreover, there was a traitor in the elixir store, which was really embarrassing. He didn't want to stay any longer. Junior brother Xu and Fei, let's go. Guru Li has gone too far. Let's return to the elixir store and report to the Bright Moon Tower Master. Fuck. They're leaving just like that? This time, the four-way tower's reputation is going to plummet. What's the solution to not leave? If I were Su Baidan and Senior Su Xiu and Fei, I would also turn around and leave. Does that mean that this elixir store meet is coming to an end? What happened to the four-way tower surprise? Isn't this too boring? Seeing Su Baidan and Elder Su leave with a majestic group of disciples, the crowd began to discuss among themselves. But at this moment, a clear voice rang out. Master, don't go. I haven't gone up yet. The crowd was stunned. Tens of thousands of eyes fell on Qin Feng. Many people didn't know him, and they were whispering to each other. Su Xiuanfei was stunned, and he stopped in his tracks. He had really forgotten about Qin Feng. Disciple Qin Feng, come back with us. Let's call it a day. After regaining his senses, Elder Su sighed. He knew that Qin Feng was very talented in alchemy, but he didn't think that Qin Feng could refine an elixir better than the vitality pill. Su Baidan didn't even look back as he continued to walk away. He really couldn't afford to lose face like this. What was going on in Qin Feng's head? Your master has already left, so why are you still making such a fuss? Qin Feng rolled his eyes as he looked at the crowd that was about to leave the round stage. He simply ignored the disciples of the four-way tower and stood alone on the four-way tower stage. Fellow Taoists, the four-way tower has sent out 3 representatives for the elixir store meet. Initially, my master, Su Xiuanfei, was one of the representatives. However, as my master has been feeling unwell recently, I've decided to bring him along. Qin Feng gave a simple explanation before looking at the VIP seats. Elder Long flipped through the registration form in his hand. After confirming that Qin Feng's name was on it, he nodded slightly. Since that's the case, quickly display your elixir. Chapter 1697. Senior Long's tone was impatient. Qin Feng was simply too young to be worthy of his discerning eyes. The crowd boiled over again, but almost all of them were mocking and questioning voices. Haha, is there something wrong with this Qin Feng guy's head? Master has already left, and he's still here to embarrass himself? What do you know? This guy must be in cahoots with Master Pair. I wonder what's going on with Square Tower recently. Why are their disciples betraying them one after another? Looks like we'll have to go to Treasure Pill Tower to buy pills in the future. Qin Feng paid no heed to the crowd's discussion and took out a jade bottle. This bottle contained the Spirit Surge pill. Now that he had the Spirit Communicating Grass as large as a field, Qin Feng no longer had to worry about not having enough ingredients to refine the Spirit Surge pill. Fellow cultivators, please calm down. Otherwise, you'll miss a historic moment. Qin Feng said calmly. Hee, this guy is too confident. Historic moment? I think it's the funniest moment. Why do I feel like that guy is so confident? Could he really have some trump card up his sleeve? Are you crazy? Do you think that Qin Feng can take out a pill more powerful than the vitality pill? Not only did the crowd not calm down, it became even more chaotic. Treasure Pill Tower's venue was right next to Qin Feng. Lu Hui had been scared away by the alchemy competition, but now she had jumped out. Qin Feng, get off the stage. Don't think that you're so great just because you're an alchemy king. Can you take out a pill more powerful than the vitality pill? Lu Beidong, who had been humiliated not long ago, immediately chimed in. Little grandson, I already told you that Square Tower is finished. You dare to embarrass me in front of everyone. I'll make you regret it. Just you wait. Once this pill store conference is over, I promise to take your dog head and play with that bitch Suru in front of you." The two of them were barking like wild dogs. Qin Feng's eyes flashed with coldness, but he quickly calmed down. With his current cultivation realm and vision, people like Lu Hui and Lu Beidong were just ants. When the opportunity presented itself, he would kill the two of them with a wave of his hand. There was no need to get angry at them. Qin Feng ignored them and opened the jade bottle to take out the spirit surge pill. A rich pill fragrance wafted through the air, but this was, after all, a level 4, level 6 golden pill. Its medicinal fragrance was much weaker than the nourishing pill. Even the pills taken out by the Spirit Pill Association and Immortal Grass Sect couldn't compare. The crowd jeered again. They had completely lost interest in Qin Feng. However, at this moment, the expression of Senior Long, who had been sitting calmly on Mount Tai, changed drastically, and he flew from his seat to Qin Feng's side. "Holy shit, what's going on? Senior Dragon is moving?" "I thought he was asleep. I feel that something is amiss." One must know that when Treasure Pill Pavilion introduced the Vitality Pill, Senior Long didn't show any reaction at all. But now, he is rushing directly to the Square Towers venue. Could it be that the pill is too heaven-defying? The mocking laughter gradually subsided, and tens of thousands of pairs of eyes stared at Senior Dragon in confusion. The other three guests stood up, and the representatives of the other three pill workshops looked solemn. Su Baidan and the others, who had just walked down the stage, suddenly stopped on the steps. Senior Long had already snatched away Qin Feng's Spirit Surge pill. He carefully examined it in his hand and even sniffed it. Suddenly, his expression changed drastically, and he cried out involuntarily, "Spirit Surge pill? This is the long-lost Spirit Surge pill." Everyone was dumbfounded. This was the North Sand Continent's #1 pill refiner, Senior Long. How rare and precious was a pill that could shock him. However, no one could tell what was so special about the Spirit Surge pill. In many people's eyes, it was just a level 4 or grade 6 golden pill. Why was Senior Long so surprised? Could it be that he had recognized the wrong pill? "Senior Long, could the Spirit Surge pill you mentioned be the legendary pill that can help cultivators without spiritual roots develop spiritual roots?" The Broken Flower City Lord, Yang Batian, was shocked. Even Yang Tong, the president of Tong Yang Trading Company, could not remain calm. One of the 8 great supremes of the North Sand Continent, Spiritual Master Zhang, was staring at the Spirit Surge pill. All the pill workshops fell silent, and tens of thousands of cultivators were dumbfounded. A pill that could help cultivators without spiritual roots develop spiritual roots? There was such a miraculous pill in the Divine Continent. If that was true, then the appearance of this Spirit Surge pill would shake the entire North Sand Continent. No, the entire Divine Continent would be in an uproar. That's right. I've already checked it carefully. This is definitely a Spirit Surge pill, and the quality of the pill is high and flawless. Clearly, this is not the first time the alchemist has refined it. Senior Long's emotions calmed down a little, but his words made the crowd unable to remain calm. If what Senior Long said is true, doesn't it mean that the Spirit Surge pill can be mass-produced? Even if it can't be mass-produced, it doesn't mean that there's only one pill. What the hell is the Square Tower doing? Hiding such a powerful pill like the Spirit Surge pill, and they're actually going to give up on the competition? This trick is too deep. I can't understand it at all. Now that the Spirit Surge pill has been revealed, what pill in today's Pill Workshop Conference can compare to it? Even the Vitality pill that the Treasure Pill Pavilion took out not long ago pales in comparison. The discussion was like a raging tide, and it was difficult to calm down in a short time. At this time, Su Baidan rushed back to the round platform and looked at the Spirit Surge pill in Senior Long's hand in a daze. "Junior brother Sun Fei, you've kept it from me for so long. So this disciple of yours has a big move. Why didn't you tell me in advance?" Su Baidan had mixed feelings, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Elder Su was standing at the side. He was even more shocked than Su Baidan. Qin Feng didn't tell him about the Spirit Surge pill. Otherwise, he wouldn't have persuaded Qin Feng to step down. Junior brother Qin Feng, why you're too amazing. Did you refine this pill yourself? I wonder if this spirit surge pill is still effective for cultivators with spirit roots. It would be perfect if I could form 2 spirit roots. Su Baijin and Su Ru exclaimed. As for the other disciples of the square tower, their eyeballs had already fallen to the ground. They weren't familiar with Qin Feng, but this fellow who had suddenly jumped out was actually going to help the square tower turn the tables. Haha, good. This is really good. The recipe for the spirit surge pill has been lost for hundreds of years. I didn't expect it to appear today. If this pill can be mass-produced, the overall cultivation base of the northern sand continent's cultivators will improve greatly. At that time, let's see if the cultivators of the other continents will still dare to look down on us. Senior Long was wild with joy. He was concerned about the world and the overall situation of the northern sand continent. The excited crowd finally calmed down, and many people started to ask questions. Senior Long, is the value of this spirit surge pill greater than the vitality pill? Senior Long nodded without hesitation and said, there's no doubt about that. Although the vitality pill can recover one's divine consciousness, it's still far from being able to produce spirit roots. If that's the case, then the Square Tower is going to turn the tables in this year's pill store meet. The Square Tower is indeed the #1 pill store in the northern sand continent. They have a deep foundation. The people who had just added insult to injury immediately changed their attitude and started to curry favor with the Square Tower. Bookmark for easier reading. Chapter 1698. No one would have thought that the Square Tower, which had abandoned the competition, would suddenly make a comeback and return to the Treasure Pill Pavilion. The disciples of the Treasure Pill Pavilion all wore cold expressions, especially Lu Hui and Lu Beitong, who felt as if they had been slapped in the face several times. At this moment, Lu Mandan suddenly stood up and said, Elder Long, I have some doubts about the origin of this bottle of Spirit Surge pill. Oh, what do you mean? Elder Long's white brows furrowed. Just as Elder Long said, the Spirit Surge pill has been lost for 100 years, and the pill recipe has long been lost. How could Qin Feng refine the Spirit Surge pill at such a young age? I suspect that he obtained this bottle of pill from some ancient martial ruin. This is against the rules of the Elixir Store Conference. The crowd abruptly came to their senses. Previously, everyone had been so focused on the medicinal properties of the Spirit Surge pill that they had overlooked this obvious problem. Qin Feng was not even 30 years old, so how could he refine such a heaven-defying pill? Everyone present was well aware of the rules of the Elixir Store Conference. Every pill recipe had to offer a pill that their own pill shop could refine. Otherwise, there was no point in participating in the Elixir Store Conference. Elder Long also realized this problem at this moment, and the joy in his eyes suddenly dimmed. He also did not believe that Qin Feng could refine the Spirit Surge pill. If that was the case, then the pill recipe for the Spirit Surge pill was still nowhere to be found. Huh, so you obtained it from a treasure hunt. Qin Feng, how dare you defy the rules of the Elixir Store Conference? I think you must be tired of living. Lu Hui, who had been acting cowardly a moment ago, was jumping up and down again. Qin Feng sneered inwardly, wondering how someone like her managed to survive to this day. Lu Beitong chimed in that Qin Feng is challenging the dignity of the 4 esteemed seniors and publicly messing with everyone's feelings. This kind of person should be cut into pieces. Realizing that the Spirit Surge pill was not refined by Qin Feng, many cultivators were in low spirits. They blamed their dissatisfaction on Qin Feng, and for a moment, voices of criticism rang out. Su Baitan broke out in a cold sweat. In these few short minutes, his emotions were like a roller coaster. Elder Su and the others were even more anxious, and their thoughts raced as they tried to think of a way to help Qin Feng escape. However, before they could come up with a plan, Qin Feng had already said, I'm sorry to disappoint everyone. This bottle of Spirit Surge pills was indeed concocted by me. However, I have another piece of news that will disappoint all of you even more. The Spirit Surge pills are within my reach. If I pass the pill formula to other alchemists, they will also be able to concoct them. The complaints suddenly stopped, and tens of thousands of pairs of eyes looked at Qin Feng with pleasant surprise. They were not disappointed at all. They were so excited that they wanted to rush up and give Qin Feng a kiss. Nonsense! You might be able to fool a 3-year-old with your words, Lu Mandan roared, appearing extremely angry. Qin Feng's expression was calm. Do you think I have a time to joke with you? Besides, what does it have to do with me, whether you believe it or not? Lu Mandan's anger was interrupted. Before he could say anything else, Senior Long said, Everyone calm down. Since young hero Qin said that he can refine the spirit-charging pill, then let's let him refine it on the spot, and we'll know if it's true or not. The crowd became excited. If Qin Feng really could refine the spirit-charging pill on the spot, then they would be witnessing the reappearance of this miraculous pill that had been lost for hundreds of years. Qin Feng did not mind refining the pill on the spot. Since he had already taken out the spirit-charging pill, there was nothing for him to worry about. However, there was no pill furnace on the spot, and he did not plan to take out the system's heaven and earth cauldron. That was a superior spiritual cauldron, and if everyone saw it, it might bring him unnecessary trouble. I can refine the pill, but Senior Long, please prepare a pill furnace. A pill furnace is easy. I have a Heaven's Limit cauldron here. You can use it. Senior Long waved his long sleeves, and a blue light shot out. In the blink of an eye, a large cauldron that was half the height of a person landed in front of Qin Feng. The cauldron's entire body glowed with an aqua blue light, and it felt as if there were ripples on its surface. There was also a cool and refreshing aura that blew towards him, causing Qin Feng's state of mind to instantly calm down. Heaven's Limit Cauldron. This is one of the Northern Sand region's 8 great spiritual cauldrons, the Water Spiritual Cauldron. If you use this cauldron to refine water-type pills, you can get twice the results with half the effort. Even an ordinary alchemist can refine a golden pill. Some people had heard of the Heaven's Limit Cauldron's origins, and they exclaimed in surprise. Although many cultivators were not alchemists, just hearing the Heaven's Limit Cauldron's name and its miraculous effects made them feel that it was very powerful. Qin Feng looked at the spiritual cauldron in front of him again, and his eyes were filled with admiration. As an elixir king, a cauldron was of great significance to Qin Feng. However, after sensing it carefully, he felt that the Heaven's Limit Cauldron was nothing much. At the very least, it was much weaker than the Heaven and Earth Cauldron in the system. Now that he had an alchemy cauldron, Qin Feng did not say anything else. He sat down cross-legged and started refining the pill. He did not use the purple ghost flame. Now that the purple ghost flame, which was spreading like wildfire in the northern sand continent, had fallen into Su Xuanfei's hands, he heaved a sigh of relief. Several balls of true fire were placed at the bottom of the cauldron, and the flames burned intensely. Compared to the purple ghost flame, the process of heating up the ordinary true fire was much slower. However, Qin Feng was not anxious. After all, he did not lack the time. After about the time it took for 2 incense sticks to burn, the temperature of the alchemy cauldron had reached Qin Feng's requirements. He waved his hand, and dozens of medicinal herbs scattered around him. The main medicinal herb, the clear spirit grass, was among them. Senior Long's eyes were sharp, and he stared unblinkingly at the medicinal herbs around Qin Feng. After examining them for a while, his expression changed unpredictably, as if he was thinking about what kind of medicinal effect these medicinal herbs would have when placed together. However, after thinking for a long time, he could not associate them with the Spirit Surge pill. Similarly, the representatives of the major alchemy shops were also carefully observing the medicinal herbs. Su Xuanfei and Su Baiden's expressions became grave. They began to suspect that Qin Feng was teasing them. What kind of plaything could be refined from these medicinal herbs? I want to see how you're going to refine the Spirit Surge pill. After Lu Mandan looked at the medicinal herbs, she sneered inwardly, and the grave expression on her face disappeared. Qin Feng did not know what these people were thinking. Even if he knew, he could not be bothered to care. He soon discovered that the Sky Peak Cauldron was indeed extraordinary. The cauldron contained abundant spiritual energy, which could speed up the process of refining pills and increase the success rate by several times. The Spirit Surge pill was just a type of level 4, level 6 golden pill. Even if the refining process was more complicated, it was not a problem for Qin Feng, who could already refine level 3, level 7 heavenly profound pills. Moreover, Qin Feng had already refined a few cauldrons of Spirit Surge pills before this, and his technique had already reached the point of perfection. Rumble. Half an hour later, a loud sound suddenly came from the venue. Mushroom clouds rose from the Sky Peak cauldron, and a rich pill fragrance wafted in all directions. Even a fool would be able to guess that this was the sound of the pill forming. The pill is formed so quickly. Is it really the Spirit Surge pill? This pill fragrance is very familiar. It is very similar to the scent of the Spirit Surge pill that young hero Qin had. Amazing! The Spirit Surge pill has really appeared in the Northern Sand region. Chapter 1699. With the formation of the pills, the atmosphere at the venue reached an unprecedented climax. Lu Mandan started to get nervous again. The pill fragrance in the air was simply too familiar. Fellow Taoists, 15 spiritual charge pills have been refined in one cauldron. Elder Long, please appraise them. Qin Feng placed the pills into a jade bottle and handed it over. Everyone was pleasantly surprised. 15 spiritual charge pills could be refined in one cauldron? It seemed like these pills were quite easy to refine. Elder Long, who had been indifferent all this while, was holding onto the jade bottle with trembling hands. Just by smelling the pill fragrance, he was 90% sure that this was indeed a bottle of spiritual charge pills. After careful examination, it was just as he had guessed. Elder Long's body started to tremble. No one knew better than him the significance of this bottle of spiritual charge pills. If it could be mass-produced, it would change the situation of the entire Northern Sand region. Young hero Qin is indeed refining spiritual charge pills. This will be the beginning of a revolution in the Northern Sand region. Long Outyan's voice was excited. Many people felt that he was exaggerating, but he knew that this was not an exaggeration. One must know that a cultivator's cultivation speed was largely determined by their spiritual roots. Most of the famous genius cultivators in the Northern Sand region had spiritual roots. As long as they cultivated techniques that were compatible with their spiritual roots, they would be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort. This was something that cultivators without spiritual roots could not compare to. At this moment, Elder Long was thinking that if everyone in the Northern Sand region could break through to the level of spiritual roots, then wouldn't there be geniuses everywhere in a few decades? Once the results were out, there was an uproar both inside and outside the venue. Almost all the cultivators were excited, but there were also a few who were filled with resentment. These people were naturally the cultivators from Treasure Pill Tower. Initially, they had the upper hand in this Elixir Workshop conference, but no one expected the result to be like this. However, the disciples of Elixir Association and Immortal Herb Sect were not angry. They were also very happy about the spiritual charge pill. Moreover, the representatives of the two pill workshops had already come to congratulate them. This could be considered as them trying to build a good relationship with Four-Way Tower. The other three guests could no longer remain calm. They hurriedly gathered around Qin Feng to introduce themselves. Many important figures also came over. In just a few minutes, Four-Way Tower's venue was completely packed. Young hero Qin, I am the leader of Sea Medicine Sect. I wonder if Four-Way Tower is willing to expand its subsects. Our Hayao Sect is willing to submit to the Four-Way Tower. Alchemist Qin is indeed young and promising. I am Jade Leaf City's City Lord, Yushun. Pleased to meet Alchemist Qin. Actually, Elder Su and the others were also very excited. They wanted nothing more than to grab Qin Feng and ask him about it. However, when they saw the situation, Su Xuanfei and Su Baidan smiled at each other and tactfully retreated to the side. Qin Feng became the center of attention, and Su Bai was both envious and happy. Su Ruer looked on in a daze, and her eyes shone with pride. It was as if the person on stage was her man. Qin Feng really couldn't stand this kind of situation and didn't want to stay any longer. It wasn't that he was afraid of a commotion, but that these people were all hypocrites. Previously, when the four-way tower had lost its power, they had added insult to injury. Now that the four-way tower had gained the upper hand, they were trying to gild the lily. Fellow Taoists, today's Pill Plaza convention has come to an end. Please return to your rooms. If you want the Spirit Charge pill, you can go to the main branch of the Four-Square Tower in Pill City to buy it. After Qin Feng finished speaking, he immediately gave Elder Su and the others a look. Before they could react, they found that Qin Feng had already run far away. The people of the four-way tower immediately came to their senses and chased after Qin Feng. After running for a long distance, Qin Feng finally heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the crowd behind him had thinned. Now that the Spirit Charge pill had appeared, he planned to stay in the four-way tower for the next few days. Otherwise, he didn't know how many cultivators would capture him. Young hero Qin, wait a moment. You still remember me, right? A figure on a flying sword flew over an extremely fast speed, landing beside Qin Feng in a few breaths' time. Senior Xing, you're also participating in the Pill Plaza convention. Qin Feng recognized the person at a glance. It was the itinerant alchemy King Xing Sanfeng whom he had met in the Red Flower Hall. At that time, the four elders of the Red Flower Hall had been eyeing Qin Feng's Spirit Charge pill, and Xing Sanfeng had been on his side. Later, Qin Feng had escaped from the Red Flower Hall and parted ways with Xing Sanfeng at the restaurant. It had been more than half a year since they had parted. There was naturally a lot of joy in their sudden reunion. It's good that young hero Qin still remembers me. I thought that now that you're famous, you don't recognize me as your elder brother anymore. Xing Sanfeng was the only itinerant alchemy king in the Northern Sand region. He was forthright and loyal, and Qin Feng liked him very much. Senior Xing, what are you saying? It's not convenient to talk here. Why don't you come with me to the four-way tower to have a good chat? Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, 3 more figures landed. They were the 3 guests of the Pill Plaza convention. Although most of the cultivators dispersed after seeing that the four-way tower had left, there were still quite a few who secretly chased after them. In just a few breaths' time, several more figures landed. Not long after, the empty space was surrounded by at least 40 to 50 people. These cultivators who had arrived first were not simple, and each of them had a powerful aura. Su Xuanfei and Su Baiden's expressions suddenly turned grave. They finally understood why Qin Feng was in such a hurry to leave. Now that the Spirit Charge pill had appeared, and only Qin Feng knew the pill formula, Qin Feng was in an extremely dangerous situation. Thinking about this, Elder Su stepped forward without hesitation, stood in front of Qin Feng, and said, "Senior Brother Baidan, take the disciples and escort Qin Feng back. I'll guard here." As he spoke, a powerful aura burst out from his body, and many cultivators looked fearful. They didn't expect Elder Su to have already reached the Buddha Light 9 Changes realm. It wouldn't be long before he broke through to the spirit detecting realm. Many cultivators had already quietly retreated. They knew that they were not as strong as Elder Su, and if they stayed, they would leave a bad impression on the four-way tower. What's more, there were a few true spirit detecting realm cultivators here. Before them, Buddha Light realm cultivators were just like ants. Brother Su, don't misunderstand. I came here with no ill intentions. I just wanted to ask young hero Qin for a Spirit Charge pill. Young hero Qin can name the price. The Broken Flower City Lord, Yang Batian, laughed. It was rumored that this city lord had reached the early stage of the spirit detecting realm, and Su Xuanfei was no match for him. Qin Feng realized that he couldn't leave even if he wanted to, so he simply cupped his fists at Yang Batian and said, "Senior Yang is too polite. Since you want a Spirit Charge pill, then Junior will give you 2 as a greeting gift." 2 rays of green light flashed, and Yang Batian casually grabbed the 2 pills. When he confirmed that they were really 2 Spirit Charge pills, his body trembled with excitement. Good. Very good. Young hero Qin is a forthright and generous person. I, Yang Batian, like to make friends with people like you. I, Yang Batian, will remember your kindness, and I will pay a visit to the four-way tower in a few days to thank you." After obtaining the spirit charge pill, Yang Batian didn't stay for long. After saying these words, he disappeared into the distance. Chapter 1700. Seeing Qin Feng give away 2 spirit surge pills for free, the rest of the cultivators became excited. "Young hero Qin, I, Yang Tong, have been rude. I also wish to ask for a few spiritual surge pills." The president of Tong Yang Trade Association stood up. Qin Feng had heard of this Chamber of Commerce before. Although it was not as famous as the Soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce, it was still an established Chamber of Commerce in the Northern Sands region and had some foundation. The Spirit Surge Pill was nothing to Qin Feng now. He had planted a large amount of clear spirit grass in the astral boundary, so he could refine a large batch of Spirit Surge Pills at any time. Moreover, from the growth of these heavens communicating herbs, they were very suitable to grow in the star boundary. Senior Yang Tong's words are too serious. "Since you need the Spirit Surge Pill, I will give it to you as a favor." Qin Feng waved his hand, and 2 green lights shot out. When Yang Tong also received 2 Spirit Surge Pills, the crowd went crazy. "Young hero Qin, I also want a Spirit Charging Pill." Alchemist Qin is truly broad-minded. It's worth us older generations to learn from him. "Can you give us old man a few Spirit Surge Pills? I can't thank you enough." "Young hero Qin, don't give it to me for free. I'll buy it with spirit stones." Seeing the Spirit Surge Pills being given away for free, the disciples of the four-way tower felt their hearts ache. They hadn't gotten their hands on a single Spirit Surge Pill yet. Even Su Xuanfei and Su Baidan couldn't remain calm. They couldn't wait to stop Qin Feng. Not long ago, the furnace of Spirit Surge Pills produced a total of 15 pills, but in less than a minute, all 15 Spirit Surge Pills were delivered. The cultivators who obtained the pills immediately retreated. No matter how high their cultivation was, they had to be careful when they had such a rare and wondrous pill in their pockets. However, there were still many cultivators who didn't receive any pills surrounding him. Qin Feng clapped his hands and said with a bitter smile, "Seniors, all of you watched me concoct pills. That cauldron alone produced 15 Spirit Surge Pills, and I've already given them all away. Why don't all of you return first? I guarantee that the main branch of the four-way tower will start selling Spirit Surge Pills in a few days. You could just head to the main branch to purchase them then." The crowd sighed, but there was nothing they could do. A few more groups of people left on their own, but there were still a dozen or so people who stood in place without moving. No one knew what they were hiding. "Elder Xing, I'm afraid that there will be a fierce battle soon. This is a matter of the four-way tower. You should leave first." Qin Feng was no fool. He had already realized that these people were here for the Spirit Surge Pills recipe. Since he couldn't hide, he would just have to fight them head-on. At the very least, the square tower had Elder Su Baidan, and a group of elite disciples, so they might not necessarily lose. Naturally, Xing Sanfeng also saw the problem, but he still stood by Qin Feng's side with a smile on his face. "Humph. I don't care about these guys. Young hero Qin, be careful when we start fighting." A warm feeling welled up in Qin Feng's heart. Since the parting party had chosen to stay, he didn't try to persuade them otherwise. The two sides stood facing each other. The four-corner tower obviously had the advantage in terms of numbers, more than 5 times that of the other side. However, the expressions of the disciples of the four-corner tower were solemn. Although the other side only had a dozen people, each of them had powerful auras. The one with the lowest cultivation had already reached the middle stage of the Buddha light realm, and there were 3 spirit detecting realm cultivators among them. "Qin Feng, my disciple, we will definitely lose this battle. When the fight starts, run. You must protect the recipe." At some point, Elder Su was standing behind Qin Feng, and he used a voice transmission technique to give Qin Feng some instructions. Only then did Qin Feng realize the seriousness of the situation. Earlier, he only felt that there were 3 extremely powerful auras among the other side, but with his current cultivation level, he couldn't see through them. He thought that they were experts of the 9 changes of Buddha light, but they were actually spirit-detecting realm cultivators. When facing a spirit-detecting realm cultivator, they were all ants under the Buddha light. Even Elder Su, who had the 9 changes of Buddha light, had no chance of survival, let alone the other disciples. The people on the other side exchanged glances, and their auras surged. It seemed like they were about to attack. However, at this moment, a gust of wind blew in the distance. The whirlpool came at an extremely fast speed, and in a few breaths, it reached the center of the crowd. The whirlpool suddenly dissipated, and Senior Long's figure appeared. His body was hunched, and his skin was wrinkled. He looked like a weak old man, but there was a violent aura faintly discernible in his body, and no one dared to act rashly. Senior Long. The Grand Elder of the Green Robes sect greets Senior Long. The crowd came back to their senses and greeted him. Everyone seemed to be very wary of this Senior Long. It was rumored that this old man's alchemy realm had already reached the level of alchemy immortal, and his cultivation realm was even more unfathomable. At least the one who left not long ago, Sejong of the Northern Sand Continent, was no match for him. It was also rumored that Sejong had already reached the late stage of the spirit-detecting realm. Senior Long nodded slightly at the crowd as a response, and said indifferently, "The Pill Store conference is over. Why is everyone still gathered here? Disperse." Although they were unwilling, after hesitating for a moment, half of the cultivators had already left. The other half of the cultivators lost their confidence and instantly disappeared into the distance on their flying swords. The disciples of the 4-way tower heaved a sigh of relief. The battle hadn't even started, but they were already covered in sweat. However, the expressions of Qin Feng, Elder Su, and the others became even more serious. Compared to Senior Long, they would rather fight with the group of people before them. Junior Qin Feng greets Senior Long. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Qin Feng decided to probe the situation first. Senior Long waved his hand and said, "We've already greeted the people before, so there's no need to be so polite. Speaking of which, you can be considered a great contributor to the Northern Sand region. When the Spirit Surge pill hits the market, the situation in the Northern Sand region will change drastically." This Senior Long was indeed an expert. His vision had always been on the big picture of the Northern Sand region. He acted as if he was doing it for the sake of the world, but no one knew if it was just an act. "Right, Qin Feng, can you let me take a look at the pill formula for the Spirit Surge pill?" Without saying much, Senior Long went into the main topic. Everyone's expression immediately turned cold. If not for the fact that they were wary of Senior Long's terrifying skills, they would have already attacked. There's no harm in giving the pill formula to Senior Long. Qin Feng's words stunned everyone, and Elder Su hurriedly shook his head at him. Qin Feng pretended not to see it and continued, "But I can't give it to you now. Can you wait for a few days? When the time comes, I'll bring the pill formula to visit Senior Long personally. I heard that Senior Long is already an alchemy immortal, so I can ask you some questions about alchemy. Since that's the case, I won't force you. I'll stay in Pill City for the next 5 days. If you're free, come to the Xinyuan Tower to look for me." As soon as he finished speaking, a strong gust of wind blew, and in the blink of an eye, Senior Long disappeared. The crowd was astonished. They thought that there was going to be a tough battle, but who would have thought that Senior Long would leave just like that? Even Qin Feng was a little surprised, but he quickly regained his senses and immediately led everyone back to the 4-way tower. Chapter 17:01. Along the way, there were no more cultivators obstructing them. This was probably due to Senior Dragon's appearance. Since even such a powerful cultivator had appeared, the others could only give up on the idea of snatching the elixir recipe. After returning to Square Tower safely, everyone heaved a long sigh of relief. No one had expected so many things to happen today. "Master, I have something to discuss with you alone." "That's great. I have something to ask you too." Qin Feng followed Elder Su into the inner courtyard. Su Baijin and Su Ru are followed as well. Once they entered the courtyard, They could not suppress the questions in their hearts. Junior brother Qin Feng, where did you get the elixir recipe for the spirit surge pill? Brat, hurry up and give senior sister Ruer a few spirit surge pills. Oh, right. I already have a spirit root. Will there be any effect if I take more spirit surge pills? Qin Feng actually still had many spirit surge pills on him, but he did not give them to those cultivators earlier. Senior sister Ruer, take it. The spirit surge pill is also useful for cultivators with spirit roots. With a wave of his hand, a jade bottle landed in Su Ruer's hand. After opening the jade bottle, Su Ruer was instantly stunned. Qin Feng had given her an entire bottle of spirit surge pills. Senior brother Baijin, I'll give you a bottle too. As for the origin of the elixir recipe, it's not convenient for me to reveal it. Please don't blame me, senior brother. When Qin Feng gave out spirit surge pills to unfamiliar cultivators for free, Su Baijin and Su Ru were extremely distressed. Now that he had an entire bottle of spirit surge pills in his hand, they did not know what to say. Baijin, Ruer, guard the courtyard. Don't let anyone in. Elder Su instructed them and brought Qin Feng into a room. The two of them sat opposite each other, and Elder Su went straight to the point. Disciple Qin Feng, how did you get the elixir recipe for the spirit surge pill? Qin Feng guessed that Elder Su would ask about this. However, the spirit surge pill was found in the system's encyclopedia of medicinal pills, so he could not tell Elder Su the truth. Master, I chanced upon an ancient book in an ancient martial relic. There are many methods of refining medicinal pills in it, as well as some introductions to medicinal herbs. As he spoke, Qin Feng took out a copy of the spirit surge pills record from the encyclopedia of medicinal pills. This is the elixir recipe for the spirit surge pill. Master, take it. Su Xuanfei's eyes widened. He had only asked out of curiosity. He had not expected Qin Feng to directly give him the pill formula. How can I do that? You can keep the pill formula for yourself. I don't want it. Su Xuanfei hurriedly pushed the pill formula back, a look of anger on his face. Qin Feng smiled and said, Master, I understand what you mean. The spirit surge pill is a treasure in the eyes of everyone, but it's nothing to me. Master, take this pill recipe and study it. Next, we'll use the spirit surge pill as the main pill for the four-way tower to promote and increase the reputation of the pill store. Su Xuanfei was dumbfounded. How could Qin Feng not be interested in the spirit surge pill, which had been lost for a long time? He realized that he had really underestimated this disciple of his. At such a young age, he had already become an elixir king and could even refine the spirit surge pill. Or perhaps it was more appropriate for him to acknowledge Qin Feng as his master. Since Qin Feng had put it this way, Elder Su didn't argue any further. To be honest, he really wanted to see the pill recipe for the spirit surge pill. Not long ago, when Qin Feng was concocting pills, the dozen or so medicinal ingredients he took out were all difficult to form pills. What method did he use to concoct such a miraculous spirit surge pill? Elder Su was instantly immersed in the contents of the jade slip. The pill recipe was very detailed, from the selection of ingredients to the introduction of each medicinal ingredient, as well as every subsequent step of concocting the pill. Elder Su nodded repeatedly as he read. In the end, he couldn't help but exclaim, So that's how it is. As expected of one of the most famous miraculous pills in the divine supreme continent. It has completely overturned my understanding of pill concoction in the past few decades. Qin Feng understood Elder Su's current mood. He felt the same way when he first saw the Spirit Surge Pills recipe. This pill recipe overturned the common sense of pill concoction. There were many steps that went against the grain, and it was very enlightening. Don't worry, Disciple Qin Feng. I won't leak this pill recipe to anyone, and I won't refine the Spirit Surge pill on my own. This pill recipe is still yours. Elder Su's expression was solemn, and Qin Feng knew that he was speaking from the bottom of his heart. If it wasn't for Elder Su's upright and magnanimous character, Qin Feng wouldn't have acknowledged him as his master, and he wouldn't have chosen to cooperate with the four-way tower to suppress the Red Flower Hall. Master, you're too serious. Thank you for helping me with the Purple Serene Flame incident. I'll give this spirit surge pill recipe to you. However, I have a few requests that I'm not sure if I should say. Elder Su was very excited. Disciple, there's no harm in speaking frankly. There's nothing that we can't talk about. Qin Feng smiled and nodded. Master, do you still remember that before the pill store conference, I said that I would bring a surprise to the four-way tower? In fact, I took the initiative to find you this time because I want the spirit surge pill to appear in the world. News of this pill has been leaked several months ago, and the elders of the Red Flower Hall have found out about it. Now, the Red Flower Hall is hunting me all over the continent, trying to snatch the pill recipe away. Su Xuanfei's expression turned serious. Qin Feng continued, I plan to let the four-way tower have the pill recipe en masse produce the spirit surge pill. However, I want half of the profits from the sale, and it will go to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Are these two requests too much? Su Xuanfei understood the reason why Qin Feng had suddenly come to seek the four-way tower's protection. However, he wasn't angry. Qin Feng had taken out the spirit surge pill recipe to show his sincerity. In this cooperation, the four-way tower was the one who had gained the most. All right, we'll do as Qin Feng's disciple says. As for the Red Flower Hall, you don't have to worry. Just stay in the four-way tower for the next few days. I believe that the people from the Red Flower Hall won't dare to come here to capture you. When the spirit surge pill starts to be sold in large quantities, it will be given the four-way tower's name. At that time, the Red Flower Hall will be even less likely to act recklessly. Elder Su's words were exactly what Qin Feng was thinking. He knew that the Red Flower Hall would still cause trouble for him after this, but they definitely wouldn't do it openly. At most, they would make some moves in the dark. However, Qin Feng didn't care about that. He just wanted the spirit's immortal kingdom to be safe. After the agreement was reached, Elder Su got busy. For a moment, the four-way tower was bustling with activity. From the Grand Elder to the ordinary disciples, everyone was busy. 3 days later, the first batch of spirit surge pills was successfully produced. This time, more than 300 spirit surge pills were refined, giving the disciples of the four-way tower a fright. During this time, Elder Su had also sought out Qin Feng a few times to discuss the matter of the clear spirit grass. The clear spirit grass was an essential ingredient for refining the spirit surge pill. However, this kind of level 5 spirit grass was very rare. Even the four-way tower storehouse did not have much of it in stock. However, this was no longer a problem for Qin Feng. He took out a large area of the clear spirit grass that he had planted in the astral plane. The amount was actually more than what the four-way tower had in stock. Chapter 1702. While everyone in the square tower was busy, Qin Feng was the most leisurely person. Seeing that 3 days had passed, Qin Feng remembered that Senior Dragon said he would stay in Pill City for 5 days. If Qin Feng didn't find him in 5 days, he would leave. After making his decision, Qin Feng went to the Xianyuan Tower. Judging from Senior Dragon's behavior of leaving on his own, this senior was quite magnanimous. If he had wanted to snatch the elixir recipe 3 days ago, no one would have been able to stop him. Arriving at the Xianyuan Tower, there was an ancient 3-story restaurant in front of him. There were several guards at the door. Qin Feng glanced at them and found that they were all at the early stage of the Buddha Light Realm. Qin Feng didn't know much about Pill City. Otherwise, he would have heard of the famous Xianyuan Tower. This was the best restaurant in Pill City. This place has been booked by Senior Dragon. Please leave quickly. Qin Feng was stopped as soon as he reached the door. Many cultivators wanted to stay in the Xianyuan Tower these days, but they were all stopped outside. However, no one dared to show any dissatisfaction when they heard Senior Dragon's name. I am Qin Feng, a disciple of the Square Tower. I have an appointment with Senior Dragon. Qin Feng stated his purpose of coming. The guards' expressions changed, and they immediately retreated to the side. At the same time, they were extremely shocked. They had received Senior Dragon's instructions 3 days ago, saying that they would only see a cultivator named Qin Feng these days. They thought that Qin Feng was an extraordinary person who could be valued by Senior Dragon. Now that they saw him in person, they realized that he was very different from what they had imagined. He was too young, so it's young hero Qin. Please follow me. One of the guards pushed the door open and entered. The others continued to stand guard outside. As soon as Qin Feng walked into the Xianyuan Tower, he felt a rich spiritual energy rush toward him. It was as if he was sitting next to a spiritual vein in the astral world. This was why the Xianyuan Tower was famous. It was rumored that this restaurant was built on a hidden spiritual vein and had a formation set up. It was a holy place for cultivation. When they came to a room on the 3rd floor, the guard stopped. Young hero Qin, senior dragon, is inside. I will take my leave first. Qin Feng nodded. Watching the guard disappear at the top of the stairs, an old and powerful voice came from inside the room. Qin Feng, come in. Pushing the door open, Zhang Xian found that the room was spacious and decorated with antique decorations. Senior Long sat cross-legged on the side of the bed and seemed to be cultivating. Qin Feng checked his aura. It was strong and steady, like a bottomless pit, making it hard to see through. Junior Qin Feng greets Senior Long. You're welcome. Feel free to take a seat. Qin Feng sat at the guest table and poured 2 cups of tea. Elder Long got off the bed and walked over. Sipping the tea, he said slowly, since you took the initiative to find me, are you willing to let me see the pill recipe for the Spirit Surge pill? Qin Feng put the copy he had prepared on the table. I was rude a few days ago. I hope Senior Dragon won't blame me. The method to refine the Spirit Surge pill was recorded in detail on the jade slip. Senior Long didn't care about his identity anymore. He grabbed the jade slip and checked it quickly. His skinny hands were trembling. No wonder it's one of the most famous miraculous pills in the Divine Continent. So that's how it is. It makes sense now. Senior Long's speed was very fast. In less than the time it took for an incense stick to burn, he had already seen through the pill formula. Putting the jade slip aside, he looked at Qin Feng and said, Don't worry. Although I've already memorized the pill formula, I won't use it for profit. However, the Spirit Surge pill is of great significance. I hope that your 4-way tower won't keep it for yourself. If it can benefit the cultivators of the Northern Sand Continent, that would be for the best. Although he hadn't known Senior Long for long, Qin Feng had heard him mention benefit the cultivators of the Northern Sand Continent many times. Previously, he had suspected that this old man was putting on an act, but now it seemed unlikely. After all, there were only the 2 of them in the room. There was no need for Senior Long to put on an act. Senior Long cares about the world. This kind of thinking is worthy of us cultivators of the Northern Sand Continent to learn from. Don't worry, the 4-way tower has already started refining the Spirit Surge pill over the past 3 days. I estimate that in another half a month, the first batch of Spirit Surge pills will be ready for sale, Qin Feng said. Senior Long was overjoyed. His eyes shone with admiration. He had seen too many genius cultivators, but most of them were selfish and conceited. It was rare to see someone as generous and low-profile as Qin Feng. Good. Young hero Qin is young and has advanced thinking. Even this old man is impressed. Since I'm praised as the #1 alchemist of the Northern Sand Continent, I naturally have to contribute. The herbs required to refine the Spirit Surge pill are very common, but the clear spirit grass is hard to find. However, I've been to the Fallen God Sea a few times and collected quite a few clear spirit grass on the islands. Take them all. Senior Long waved his sleeves, and the room was instantly filled with clear spirit grass. These clear spirit grass were all living creatures, but they weren't dried and sealed like the 4-way tower. Qin Feng had no idea how Senior Long managed to do this. Qin Feng didn't stand on ceremony and immediately kept the clear spirit grass in his astral world. The originally barren astral world was now filled with clear spirit grass. At a glance, it was as though he was in a sea of lavender flowers. In a while, hand the clear spirit grass to the alchemists of the 4-way tower and use it to refine the Spirit Surge pill. The conditions for the growth of this type of spirit grass are very harsh. It can only survive after the spiritual energy reaches a certain density. If you keep in your storage ring, it will wither and die in a few days. Senior Long reminded him, and Qin Feng understood. It was no wonder that the clear spirit grass could grow in the Fallen God Sea and the astral world. The spiritual energy in these two places was very dense. After talking about pill formulas, Qin Feng consulted Senior Long about pill refinement. Even though he had the encyclopedia of medicinal pills and might be better than Senior Long in terms of identifying medicinal herbs and pill formulas, it was rumored that Senior Long had already become an alchemy immortal. His experience in pill refinement far surpassed Qin Feng's. During the conversation, Senior Long was shocked several times. He realized that at Qin Feng's age, his knowledge of pill refinement had reached an unprecedented level. Even when he was young, he hadn't reached such a level. Later on, when he found out that Qin Feng was actually an alchemy king, Senior Long found it hard to accept. Haha, great. That's great. Our northern sand continent has produced many geniuses in recent years. I believe that it won't be long before our strength will be on par with the other continents. Qin Feng, you are a rare junior that I've taken a liking to. If you are willing, I would like to take you in as my disciple. If outsiders were to hear these words, their eyeballs would definitely pop out, and they would be incomparably envious and jealous of Qin Feng. There were too many cultivators in the northern sand continent who wished to become Senior Long's disciple. This was a legendary existence that had become an alchemy immortal. If they could become his disciple, they wouldn't have to worry about pills, and their cultivation would soar. Qin Feng was taken aback. When he regained his senses, he immediately said, Senior Long is a person of virtue and prestige. If you're willing to take me in as your disciple, it would naturally be my honor. Great. Then it's settled. From now on, you will be my, Long Qianjuan's, only disciple. As for your master at the four-way tower, you can forget about it. Chapter 1703. It was not that Senior Long wanted Qin Feng to be ungrateful and refuse to acknowledge Elder Su as his master, but the divine continent usually only acknowledged one master. Senior Sui_Meng's prestige was much higher than Elder Su's. If Qin Feng wanted to become his disciple, he would have to remove his master-disciple relationship with Su Xuanfei. Ever since the Pill Store Conference, Elder Su realized that Qin Feng's understanding of alchemy was even higher than his. Thus, he took the initiative to dissolve their master-disciple relationship. Otherwise, he would become a laughingstock. This was Qin Feng's first time hearing Senior Long's real name. Actually, there were very few people in the entire northern sand state who knew Long Qianjuan's name. Those who knew him were all big shots who were on the same level as Senior Long Qianjuan was very happy to have Qin Feng as his disciple. He took out a few jade bottles on the spot. Disciple, I don't have anything good to give you. Here are a few bottles of pills. They will be of some help to your cultivation in the future. Qin Feng took the jade bottle. This was an elixir given by Senior Long. He believed that it wouldn't be too bad. Even though he was mentally prepared, he was still shocked when he opened the jade bottle. 2 of the bottles contained sky-connecting spirit pills. They were the level 9, level 7 imperial pills that the immortal grass sect had released 3 days ago. It was rumored that this pill could allow a cultivator with 9 transformations of Buddha aura to step into the spirit-detecting realm with 100% certainty. It was no wonder that Senior Long had no reaction when he saw the divine spirit pill. He probably had several bottles of this pill on him. However, the supreme spirit pill was only the weakest of the several bottles. Long Qianjuan also gave him the devil-dissolving pill, which was a rare king pill that could help devil cultivators get rid of their evil nature. He also gave him the root-restoring pill, which was a rare gold pill that could remove the pill toxins that had accumulated in a cultivator's body over the years. He also gave him the Great Bodhi Pill, which was an upgraded version of the Bodhi Pill that the elders of the Panacea Guild had introduced during the Elixir Workshop Conference. It could purify the spirit root and was very rare. Looking at the bottles of rare high-grade medicinal pills, even Qin Feng, who was an elixir king, was extremely excited. Although he now had a lot of medicinal ingredients, as well as a variety of pill recipes recorded in the Compendium of Pills, due to the limitations of his alchemy level, there were still many pills that he found difficult to refine. Before Qin Feng could recover from his pleasant surprise, Long Qianjuan waved his hand and withdrew another precious treasure. Whoosh! A gust of wind suddenly rose in the room. A ball of blue flame was burning fiercely in Long Qianjun's palm. Disciple, I saw you use true fire to refine pills at the pill store conference 3 days ago, so I'll give you another fire seed. This is the spirit sunflower, ranked 20th on the divine continent. Qin Feng stared at the spirit sunflower in a daze. Right now, he only possessed the 5th-ranked earth fire, the purple serene flame. It was precisely because of the exposure of the purple serene flame that he had been forced to flee for a period of time. Moreover, Senior Long wanted to give away one of the divine continent's 28 types of heavenly fires, the spiritual sunflower. This was too much. Master, you can't do that. Heaven fire is a rare fire seed. You should keep it for yourself. After Qin Feng came back to his senses, he immediately refused. This gift was too precious. Long Qianjun was very satisfied with Qin Feng's performance. He revealed an admiring expression and said, "Don't worry and take it. I still have a heavenly fire that's of a slightly higher level than the spirit sunflower." Qin Feng. Heavenly fire could only be found by chance. Many cultivators couldn't even come across one in their lifetime. Who would have thought that Long Qianjun could get 2 heavenly fires by himself? His luck was monstrous. Qin Feng didn't stand on ceremony and accepted the spirit sunflower. He believed that with this heavenly fire, his level of alchemy would rise to another level. Since the spirit sunflower had been subdued by Long Qianjun, he erased his divine sense. Qin Feng spent some time and energy to completely turn the spirit sunflower into his fire seed. Suddenly possessing a heavenly fire made Qin Feng very happy. He was glad that he chose to visit Senior Long. If he didn't come, he would have never found these opportunities again. After giving Qin Feng the heavenly fire, Long Qianjun wanted to give Qin Feng the heaven cauldron. However, Qin Feng didn't accept it. The heaven and earth cauldron in the system was better than the heaven cauldron. Even if he accepted it, it would be a waste of resources. After obtaining so many benefits, Qin Feng wanted to repay Long Qianjun. So, he made a copy of the Encyclopedia of Medicinal Pills and gave it to Long Qianjun. Long Qianjun didn't care. He put the jade slip aside and said, "Ha ha, disciple, I appreciate your kindness. You can keep this medicinal pills secret manual. I'll give you another secret manual. It's definitely more complete than yours." Qin Feng smiled bitterly. So, Master didn't like his medicinal pills compendium. This wasn't because Long Qianjun was arrogant. After all, he was old and had collected countless pill recipes and medicinal properties of spiritual herbs over the past few decades. He had collected all of these in a secret manual. It was reasonable to say that it would be more complete than the secret manual that Qin Feng had organized. "Master, you should take a look at the medicinal pills compendium I gave you first." Qin Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Long Qianjun was stunned. In the end, he picked up the jade slip. But as soon as he read the first page, his expression changed. "Disciple Qin Feng, did you compile this secret manual yourself?" After flipping through a few more pages, Long Qianjun could no longer remain calm. This secret manual was too detailed. It recorded all the common pill stores on the Divine Supreme Continent, as well as many rare medicinal pills. There were even a few records of some lost miraculous pills and immortal pills. The spirit-charging pill was in this secret manual. "Master, this is not a secret manual that I organized. Your disciple accidentally discovered this in an ancient martial arts relic. I was lucky enough to realize that this was a rare treasure for alchemy. Hence, I brought it out with me." Qin Feng casually made up an excuse. He couldn't tell Long Qianjun about the system's secret. He wondered if it would cause a sensation in the entire Divine Supreme Continent if the system were to be exposed one day. After understanding the power of the medicinal pills compendium, Long Qianjun put it away without hesitation. In his eyes, this secret manual was a supreme treasure. It was even more precious than the spirit sunflower and those medicinal pills he gave to Qin Feng. After putting away the jade slip, Long Qianjun got down to business. I'm at the critical juncture of breaking through to the empty god realm. I'll have to go into closed-door cultivation in a few days. You're the only disciple of the Imperial Spirit Pill faction. If you encounter any trouble before I come out, just tell us our faction. Any cultivator with some knowledge won't make things difficult for you. Long Qianjun paused before continuing. Of course, this is only limited to the northern sand continent. Outside of this world, I'm afraid not many people know about the Imperial Spirit Pill faction. Qin Feng was shocked by Long Qianjun's realm. He was actually an expert at the peak of the spirit-connecting Realm 9. Now that he had such a powerful master to protect him, why should he be afraid of the Red Flower Hall? However, Qin Feng didn't directly ask Long Qianjun to help him destroy the Red Flower Hall. After all, his master was at the critical juncture of breaking through. It would be troublesome if he was injured and his breakthrough was affected. Master, where are you going to go for your closed-door cultivation? Why don't I provide you with a place? Qin Feng thought of the spirit immortal kingdom. If he could settle his master there, he wouldn't have to worry about the safety of Haning, Ying, and the others. Chapter 1704. I have my own place to break through, but does Disciple want me to go somewhere? Long Qianjun asked. Having his thoughts seen through, Qin Feng scratched his head awkwardly and said, I have something to tell Master. Not long ago, in order to participate in the Fallen God Sea expedition, I went to Red Flower Hall to take the Golden Core Master exam. At that time, I refined the Spirit Surge Pill. Speaking up to there, Long Qianjun already understood. So the Spirit Surge Pill appeared long ago in Red Flower Hall. In that case, how could those ants in Red Flower Hall let you go? Don't worry about this. I will personally go to Red Flower Hall before I go into seclusion. Qin Feng was filled with gratitude and hurriedly said, That's not what Disciple meant. Master is at the juncture of breaking through, so it's best not to act rashly. Actually, Disciple wants Master to go into seclusion in Ling Xian Kingdom. That is a city I built, guarded by my family and friends. I'm just afraid that Red Flower Hall will find that place and attack my family. Long Qianjun was enlightened, and his eyes were filled with admiration. This meant that Qin Feng was a person who valued relationships. It's just Red Flower Hall. How can they harm me? Long Qianjun did not mind. However, halfway through his sentence, he suddenly fell silent. After a while, he changed his mind. Never mind. You are still young and need to hone yourself. If I help you settle everything, it will instead harm you. In a few days, I will go to Ling Xian Kingdom. You don't have to worry anymore. Red Flower Hall is full of sinister scoundrels. Use your own abilities to eradicate them. If you really encounter life-threatening danger, just say the name of the Imperial Spirit Pill sect. If the scoundrels of Red Flower Hall still dare to kill you, I will definitely avenge you. Qin Feng was extremely grateful. He knew he had followed another good master. Elder Su from before was just as righteous as the current senior Long Qianjun left Pill City and went to Ling Xian Kingdom according to the map Qin Feng gave him. After Qin Feng returned to Four Square Tower, he gave the clear spirit grass to Elder Su. Now that he had all the materials and the pill recipe in Four Square Tower's hands, refining the Spirit Surge Pill was a piece of cake. Young hero Qin, thank you for your hospitality these past few days. I saw that it was about time, so I came to bid farewell. Fang Xing found Qin Feng. He had been staying at the Square Tower for the past few days. At the end of the day, Qin Feng was only half a disciple of the Four-Way Tower. Now that his master-disciple relationship with Elder Su had been cancelled, he was even less of a member of the Four-Way Tower. He had a good relationship with Qin Feng, but he wasn't familiar with the Four-Way Tower. He felt uncomfortable staying there for too long. Qin Feng understood Xing Sanfang's thoughts and didn't force him. He took out a jade bottle and handed it over. Since Senior Xing has made up his mind, I won't urge you to stay. You must accept this bottle of pills. Xing Sanfang didn't stand on ceremony with Qin Feng. He opened the jade bottle and was shocked. Divine Spirit Pills? Young hero Qin, could it be that you took the wrong one? Inside the jade bottle were 2 level 7 king, level 9 divine elixirs. This was a precious pill that could allow a cultivator at the peak of the Buddhist light ninth transformation to break through to the spirit detecting realm. Even a pill king like Xing Sanfeng would find it difficult to obtain. Senior Xing must be joking. These two divine spirit pills are for you. I hope that when you see Senior Xing again, you'll have successfully stepped into the spirit detecting realm, Qin Feng said with a smile. Xing Sanfeng was currently in the Buddhist Light 7 transformation, so he would probably need the divine spirit pills soon. He was a straightforward person, so he didn't bother with Qin Feng. That's right, Senior Xing. If you don't have a specific place to go, why don't you go to the Spirit Immortal Kingdom to cultivate? That's a city I built. My master, Senior Long, is also there, Qin Feng added. Xing Sanfeng was shocked. He didn't think that Senior Long would accept a disciple. He suddenly realized that the two divine spirit pills were most likely given to Qin Feng by Senior Long. All right, I'll go to the Spirit Immortal Kingdom after I take care of some matters. Xing Sanfeng left. With him, Qin Feng felt more at ease about the safety of the Spirit Immortal Kingdom. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. The four-way tower worked day and night, refining thousands of spirit charge pills. Qin Feng had been cultivating in seclusion. As soon as he came out, the system's notification rang out in his mind. Ding! Hedonist Sovereign System has issued a quest. Eradicate the Red Flower Hall. Quest time limit, 3 months. Successfully completing the quest will result in a reward of 2 million Hedonist points and a Zheni sword. Failing the quest will result in a deduction of 4 million Hedonist points and the loss of the gold-grade spiritual equipment. The quest came just in time. Even without this quest, Qin Feng didn't plan on staying in the Red Flower Hall. After all, the conflict between him and the Red Flower Hall had reached a point of no return. Qin Feng looked at the Zheni sword and immediately became interested in this sword. According to the Hedonist Sovereign System's classification of spiritual equipment, from low to high, they were white, orange, blue, purple, pink, and further down, they were further divided into Great Sage Gold, Scarlet Devil Red, and Destructive Dark. Although Qin Feng hadn't obtained the Destructive Darkness equipment, he realized that the Golden Phoenix and the Rainbow Devil Storm Spear weren't considered outstanding in the Divine Supreme Continent. Even the Red Flower Hall's disciple Mo Chong, whom he killed in Flower City not long ago, had used the dragon-locking silk that was more powerful than the gold grade and Scarlet Devil equipment. Little Pig, how do you define this Zhen E sword as a true grade spiritual equipment? What's the difference between a true grade spiritual equipment and a true grade spiritual equipment? Qin Feng quickly realized the situation. Little Pig said, Master, the classification of weapons in the Hedonist Sovereign System is basically the same as in the Divine Supreme Continent. Spiritual equipment is the lowest grade of weapons. Above it are true grade spiritual equipment, immortal grade spiritual equipment, sacred grade spiritual equipment, and so on. Qin Feng rolled his eyes. In the end, the weapons he'd obtained were the lowest grade in the Divine Supreme Continent. However, he quickly thought of the Cosmic Flying Sword, the Golden Rock's Celestial Venerable Armor, and the Unforged Imprisonment. These three were all out-of-print items in the system's introduction. They were defined as immortal grade spiritual equipment or divine grade spiritual equipment. Before Qin Feng could ask, Little Pig explained, Master, you're thinking too much. The items in the first few pages of the out-of-print interface aren't very high grade. The reason why they're defined as immortal grade spiritual equipment or divine grade spiritual equipment is to increase Master's motivation and make more out-of-print weapons as soon as possible. For example, the Cosmic Flying Sword is only a pink grade spiritual equipment after being forged, and the Golden Rock's Celestial Venerable Armor is a Great Sage Gold equipment. Oh right, Master, the Unforged Imprisonment is a true grade spiritual equipment. Qin Feng was speechless. However, he finally understood the difference between a spiritual grade spiritual equipment and a true grade spiritual equipment. It was as big as the difference between a Saint King Realm cultivator and a Buddha Light Realm cultivator. The Zhen E sword that the system had rewarded him with was also a true grade spiritual equipment. Qin Feng also asked the system to identify Mo Chang's dragon-locking silk. It was also a true-grade spiritual equipment. Chapter 1705. After half a month, Four Corner Tower officially started selling Spirit Surge pills. The news was released 3 days ago, and on that day, cultivators from all over the North Sand region rushed to Pill City. When the disciples of Four Corner Tower prepared to open for business early in the morning, they were shocked by the scene outside. The long queue stretched from the entrance of the pill shop to the city gates of Pill City. It's open, it's open. Little brother, how many Spirit Surge pills did Four Corner Tower make this time? How many Spirit Stones are they priced? Are there any requirements for the buyer's identity and cultivation? I'm warning everyone, do not cut the queue, or my 32-meter saber will show no mercy. The moment Four Corner Tower opened its doors, the crowd erupted. The disciples were so frightened that they quickly closed the doors, afraid that these cultivators would lose their minds and rush into Four Corner Tower to snatch the pills. After an instant's time, the doors opened again. Su Xuanfei and Su Baidan personally led the crowd to maintain order. When they saw the scene outside, they were shocked. The two elders of Four Corner Tower are here. Looks like they're going to start selling pills. Why don't I see young Hero Qin? I'm his loyal fan now. Senior Su, I want a Spirit Surge pill. Give me a Spirit Surge pill. The crowd erupted again. Su Xuanfei and Su Baidan felt a headache coming on. They naturally knew how powerful the Spirit Surge pill was, but they didn't expect it to be so influential. The two even saw Elder Feng Yun of the Panacea Association and Elder Xia Ji of Immortal Grass Gate. These two were really going all out. Originally, the pill sale was scheduled to be held inside the pill shop, but seeing the huge crowd outside, Su Xuanfei immediately changed the venue to be held outside. This was to prevent these cultivators from rushing into Four Corner Tower and flattening the entire pill shop. The temporary venue was quickly set up. At this moment, dozens of black figures flew over from afar and landed at the front of the crowd. Hey, what are you guys doing? Go to the back and queue up. Be careful, my 32-meter saber won't listen to you. The madman who called himself a certain Nyo was instantly enraged. A fellow Taoist beside him reminded him in a low voice, we can't afford to offend those people. There's the city lord of West River City, Mu Yin Feng, who is rumored to have reached the spirit detecting realm. There's also the Lin family's head, Lin Mu, who seems to have also reached the spirit detecting realm. There's also the Hall Master of the Hall of Famous Generals, Chao Yunfei, who is undoubtedly a spirit detecting realm expert. Niao Mao immediately put away his saber and complained in his heart, damn it, why are they all spirit detecting realm experts? After knowing the identity of the person who had come, the other noisy cultivators immediately shut their mouths. It was rare to see a spirit detecting stage cultivator in the vast North Sand region. Who would have thought that all of them would gather at the Pill City's Square Tower? The Four Square Tower's disciples were frightened out of their wits. Su Xuanfei and Su Baidan looked calm on the surface, but their hearts were pounding. Seeing that the other party was silent, Elder Su could only take the initiative to ask, Seniors, you must have come from afar to purchase the Spirit Surge pill, right? A person walked out from the crowd. It was the branch president of the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild, Long Outyin. There was no one in the North Sand region who did not know of him. The moment he appeared, he caused a commotion. Even the branch president of the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild, Senior Long Outyin, is here. This senior is one of the 8 great supremes of the North Sand region. Why are there so many big shots here? What else can they be here for? They must be here to buy the Spirit Surge pill. Are you stupid? I think they're here to snatch the pill formula for the Spirit Surge pill, or to purchase the Four Square Towers pill formula. The atmosphere of the auction suddenly changed. Many of the more cowardly cultivators had already fled, afraid that they would be hurt if a fight broke out. Long Outyin did not care about Su Xuanfei at all. He stood with his hands behind his back, looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle, and said, I heard that the Foursquare Tower has obtained the pill formula for the Spirit Surge pill. Hand the pill formula to me now, and I will leave this place." The crowd was in an uproar. He was indeed here to snatch the pill formula. The disciples of the Foursquare Tower suppressed their anger, but in fear of Long Outyen's strength, they did not dare to act recklessly. Su Xuanfei and Su Baiden's palms were sweating. In front of so many spirit-detecting realm cultivators, the two of them were like ants. "I'm sorry, Senior Long Outyen. The pill formula for the Spirit Surge pill is a treasure of the Foursquare Tower, and we cannot hand it over to you." Su Xuanfei braced himself and made his stance clear. A ferocious aura shot out from Long Outyen's body. He did not even make a move, but Su Xuanfei was already forced back several steps by the aura. "How dare you? You think you can just refuse to give me what I, Long Outyen, want?" Long Outyen let out a furious roar, and it felt as if half the sky was shaking. More than half of the cultivators in the queue retreated in fear. They realized that the auction was about to turn into a massacre. "Aunt Long Outyen, how dare you come to my Foursquare Tower to make trouble?" Just as the crowd was running far away, a low roar came from the Foursquare Tower, causing the crowd to stop and look over. A white figure landed beside Su Xuanfei. It was a young hero. Very soon, someone recognized him. Wasn't he young hero Qin, who had refined a rush pill during the Pill Workshop conference half a month ago? "Qin Fun, leave quickly. There's nothing for you to do here." Su Xuanfei was so anxious that he was about to jump up and down. At the same time, he felt a surge of warmth in his heart. Qin Fun was no longer a member of the Foursquare Tower, and he did not expect him to step forward at this juncture. But before Qin Fun could speak, Long Outyen's expression turned extremely cold. "Qin brat, so you're hiding here? Old bastard Long, you're still trying to rob others at your age. Don't you have any shame?" Since Qin Fun had stepped forward, he was not afraid of Long Outyen at all. Anyway, the conflict between him and the Soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce could not be resolved, so why should he be nice to Long Outyen? His words shocked the crowd. Long Outyen was one of the 8 great martial artists of the Northern Sand Continent, the president of the Soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce. Why was he like an old dog in Qin Fun's eyes? "You wild brat, I wanted to spare your dog life, but since you're seeking death, I'll fulfill your wish." How could Long Outyen swallow his anger after being scolded by a junior in front of so many cultivators? He did not care whether Qin Fun was an elixir king or not. He wanted to kill this bastard first. "You want to kill me? Be careful that my Imperial Spirit Pill sect doesn't let you off." Qin Fun had long seen through Long Outyen's killing intent and shouted before Long Outyen could make a move. Long Outyen retracted his palm, which was suspended in midair, and stared at Qin Fun in disbelief, as if he was meeting him for the first time. The crowd was already in a state of shock. The name Imperial Spirit Pill sect was a little unfamiliar, but after a few seconds, many people revealed expressions of shock and fear. What's everyone shouting about? What kind of sect is the Imperial Spirit Pill sect? Why haven't I heard of it before? There were many cultivators with low cultivation bases and experience who did not understand what was going on. Someone immediately explained, "Many people don't know about the Imperial Spirit Pill sect, but you should have heard of Senior Long. That Imperial Spirit Pill sect was founded by Senior Long, but rumor has it that the sect never recruits disciples. How did young hero Qin become a disciple of the Imperial Spirit Pill sect?" Chapter 1706. After learning that Qin Fun was the only disciple of the Imperial Spirit Pill sect, chaos ensued. The spirit-detecting realm experts behind Long Outyen looked serious. Su Xuanfei and Su Baidan were shocked. The jaws of the disciples of the Square Tower dropped to the ground. Young hero Qin is Senior Long's last disciple. No wonder he is rumored to have become an elixir king at such a young age. He even refined the spirit charge pill. How enviable. But even Senior Long's fame won't be enough. Those spirit-detecting realm seniors don't have simple backgrounds. What do you know? Most of them are seniors who have just entered the spirit-detecting realm, and Senior Long is rumored to have already entered the late stage of the spirit detecting realm. Moreover, Senior Long's strength does not lie in his cultivation. He is the #1 alchemist in the northern sand continent. Rumor has it that he has become an alchemy celestial. Do you know how powerful an alchemy celestial is? He doesn't even need to do anything himself. With just a word, he can summon countless experts to serve him. The crowd was in heated discussion. The fight for the pill recipe was getting more and more exciting. Just as many cultivators had said, Senior Long's reputation was not to be underestimated. Those spirit-detecting realm experts seemed to have the intention to retreat. They retracted their ferocious auras. But Long Ao-Yin did not retreat. After a moment of absent-mindedness, he laughed loudly. Haha, Long Qianjuan's disciple? You're using that old guy's name to threaten the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild? Haha, I'm going to die of laughter. Everyone looked at Long Ao-Yin as if they were looking at an idiot. They had no idea what he was trying to do. Although Long Ao-Yin was one of the 8 great supremes of the northern sand continent, he was the weakest. Compared to Senior Long, he was much weaker. Even Qin Fun was puzzled, but he soon realized something. The people of the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild all had the surname Long. His master Long Qianjun also had the surname Long. Could there be some connection between them? Halfway through his laughter, Long Ao-Yin's expression suddenly turned ferocious. A violent aura surged from his body, and he slammed his palm towards Qin Fun. Xing, it seems that old fart Long Qianjun did not tell you some secrets. Otherwise, you would not have mentioned his name in front of the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild. This palm strike was very strange. In Qin Feng's eyes, Long Ao-Yin did not move, but an unprecedented aura of death enveloped him. The reason why Qin Feng dared to confront Long Ao-Yin was because he thought he could hide in the astral world to save his life. However, the moment Long Ao-Yin attacked, Qin Feng realized that he was too naive. He didn't even have the chance to escape. Rumble. There was a loud explosion, like the fury of thunder. Qin Feng thought he was already dead, but a few seconds later, he suddenly opened his eyes and instinctively looked at his body. He was completely unharmed. This palm was too powerful, and the cultivators buying pills had already retreated hundreds of meters away to avoid the shockwaves. Only the spirit-detecting realm cultivators were still standing, but they were already 40 to 50 meters away from Long Ao-Yin. The crowd was suddenly stunned. A strange and magical scene appeared in front of them. A barrier of light appeared in front of Qin Fun. The barrier of light seemed to connect to the heavens and was 100 meters wide. It protected Qin Fun and the people from a square tower behind him. Long Ao-Yin's expression changed drastically, and he struck out several times. The commotion caused by these strikes was even more intense. It was obvious that his previous attack was just a casual one. However, no matter how fierce Long Ao-Yin's attack was, he could not penetrate the barrier of light. All he did was leave ripples on the barrier. Who dares to interfere in the affairs of the Soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce? Why hide in the dark like a coward? Show yourself if you have the guts. Long Ao-Yin stopped his attack and even took a few steps back. The crowd suddenly looked in the direction of the square tower. A dazzling light suddenly rose above the ancient tower, making it difficult for them to open their eyes. The light disappeared in a flash, and when it reappeared, it was already hovering in the air in front of Qin Feng. Bright Moon Tower Master Ji, the Bright Moon Tower Master has come out of seclusion, Elder Su suddenly exclaimed. The disciples of the square tower immediately went into an uproar, and they all knelt on the ground in unison. Disciples of the square tower greet the Bright Moon Tower Master. Rise. There seemed to be a figure in the light, but it was impossible to see the figure clearly. Even the rough shape of the figure was blurry. Su Mingyue's voice came from afar. I have been in seclusion for a long time and have not cared about the affairs of the world. It seems that the people of the northern sand continent have forgotten about me. How dare they cause trouble here? Forget it. It's time to clean up some arrogant scoundrels. Su Mingyue's voice was calm, and there was not a trace of emotion in it. However, his words were filled with arrogance. He actually called Long Ao-Yin, who was also one of the northern sand continent's 8 great masters, a scoundrel. Long Out Yin's expression was cold. He knew that he was not Su Mingyue's match, but he could not allow Su Mingyue to insult him in front of everyone. However, Long Out Yin did not make a move after a long time because he realized something terrifying. Had Su Mingyue broken through to the empty god stage? Long Out Yin was not the only one who realized this. Many powerful cultivators also revealed shocked expressions. As long as one had reached the advanced stage of the Buddha's light stage, they would be able to see that the white figure in the air was not Su Mingyue's real body. It was merely a clone. In order to create a clone, one had to reach the empty god stage first. Rumble. Just as the crowd was guessing, a loud sound landed on the ground. No one saw how Su Mingyue made his move, but the ground where Long Out Yin was standing had sunk into a huge pit. Even though Long Out Yin had dodged in time, he was still sent flying by the aftershock. Pooh! Long Out Yin spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. Su Mingyue's casual palm had seriously injured Long Out Yin, who was at true spirit level 6. You are indeed a scoundrel. Die. Su Mingyue's voice was heard again. Long Out Yin was so scared that he broke out in cold sweat. He could even imagine that in the next moment, his soul would be blown to smithereens, and not even his spiritual dawn would remain. Actually, as long as a cultivator reached the true spirit stage, a spiritual dawn would be formed in their body. If only their physical body was destroyed, they could be reborn through the spiritual dawn. However, after rebirth, their cultivation would be crystallized, and they would have to start all over again. However, since Su Mingyue had made his move, Long Out Yin believed that he would not even have the chance to be reborn. However, after waiting for a while, Su Mingyue's second attack did not come. Long Out Yin could not figure out what was going on, but he did not have the time to think about it. He quickly found a gap and flew away. He left a trail of clouds in the sky, like a fighter jet flying past. The crowd was stunned, unable to understand what had happened. The Bright Moon Tower Master had actually let Long Out Yin escape? What are you ants doing here? Do you want to take a blow from me as well? Su Mingyue's voice rang out again. It was emotionless, and no one knew what he was thinking. The remaining spirit channeling realm experts were startled, and without a word, they turned around and ran. Rumble. Each of them left a trail of clouds in the sky, and it was a spectacular scene. Su Mingyue did not make another move. His ethereal voice was heard. Today, the Square Tower is selling spirit charging pills. If anyone dares to cause trouble, they will be killed. Chapter 1707. The words of a Nihility God Stage powerhouse could not be false. The cultivators who wanted to take a peek at the pill recipe immediately gave up on this terrifying idea. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the white light in the air disappeared along with the light barrier in front of Qin Fun. Su Mingyue had been gone for a while, but the atmosphere outside was still cold and quiet. After a long while, someone asked cautiously, Has the Bright Moon Tower Master left? Only then did many people regain their senses. After sensing carefully, they realized that the oppressive aura really did not exist anymore. Senior Brother Baidan, why do I feel that something is not right? Su Xuanfei communicated with Su Baidan secretly. Su Baidan also noticed something fishy. According to the Bright Moon Tower Master's personality, she should have killed Long Out Yin immediately. Why did she let him go? Since the Bright Moon Tower Master has come out of seclusion, I'll go take a look. I'll leave the rest to Junior Brother. Su Baidan left in a hurry, leaving Elder Su alone to control the situation. However, ever since the Bright Moon Tower Master appeared, the cultivators who wanted to buy the pills became very low-key. They lined up in an orderly manner and waited to buy the pills. Not even the slightest noise could be heard. The first batch of several thousand Spirit Surge pills was sold in less than half a day. The cultivators who obtained the Spirit Surge pills were extremely excited, while the cultivators who did not line up left dejectedly. The Square Tower's price for the Spirit Surge pills was very reasonable. One pill could be purchased for only 50,000 high-grade Spirit Stones, and each cultivator was limited to one pill. This price was not high, and almost all the cultivators in the northern sand continent could afford it. Ding. Hedonist sovereign system has issued a chain mission. Northern Sand Continent's #1 Chamber of Commerce mission. Main mission. Host Qin Fun. Build the Northern Sand Continent's #1 Chamber of Commerce. There is no time limit for the mission. If the mission is completed successfully, the system will reward the host with 10 million Hedonist points, an immortal equipment drawing scroll, and a hidden realm drawing scroll. If the mission is failed, 20 million Hedonist points will be deducted, and the host's cultivation will drop back to the immortal Chi stage. Side mission. Create a Chamber of Commerce and subdue 10 powerful chambers of commerce. The mission time limit is 1 month. If the mission is completed successfully, the system will reward the host with 100,000 Hedonist points, an immortal equipment drawing scroll, and an energy star stone. If the mission is failed, 200,000 Hedonist points will be deducted. Announcing the second side quest of #1 Chamber of Commerce. Participate in a Chamber of Commerce exchange conference and raise the Chamber of Commerce's name. There is no time limit for the quest. If the quest is completed successfully, the system will reward 500,000 Hedonist points. The rest of the rewards are yet to be determined. If the quest is failed, 1 million Hedonist points will be deducted. The rest of the punishment is yet to be determined. The Hedonist Sovereign System issued a new quest. At this time, the first batch of Spirit Surge pills had been sold out, and the Square Tower was immediately busy concocting a new batch. Qin Feng used this time to organize an offline recruitment fair, mainly to recruit pill shops of various sizes, sects, and clans. This was an attempt to complete the first side mission of the #1 Chamber of Commerce. Is the Square Tower really recruiting offline agents? Just thinking about it makes me excited. The Spirit Surge pill is so valuable that even the Four-Way Tower's main store can't keep up with the demand. Logically speaking, the Four-Way Tower wouldn't be looking for business partners. I wonder what their intentions are. It doesn't matter what his intentions are. As long as we can establish a connection with the Spirit Surge pill, it will be hard for our pill shop not to become famous. Early in the morning, one of the courtyards of the Square Tower was already filled with people. The crowd was engaged in a heated discussion, and everyone looked excited. Qin Feng suddenly walked out of the house, causing the crowd to scream. It's young Hero Qin. I'm really envious of young Hero Qin. He became an elixir king at such a young age, and his cultivation is unfathomable. He has a close relationship with the Square Tower, and he's Elder Long's only disciple. Why is he so lucky? Ever since the Pill Shop Conference and the recent Pill Sale Fair, Qin Feng had become rather famous in the Northern Sands region. Many cultivators were envious of his luck, but no one knew that it was all because of his hard work. In fact, he wasn't even a cultivator of this continent to begin with. The recruitment fair was only managed by Qin Feng alone. However, with his current prestige, it was clear that he was able to control the situation. Fellow cultivators, I would like to thank everyone for coming to this recruitment fair today. Secondly, I would like to clarify that the organizer of today's recruitment fair is not the Square Tower, but the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce that I founded. Just as he finished speaking, a heated discussion broke out in the courtyard. Many factions had come for the Square Tower's reputation. As for the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce, this was the first time everyone had heard of it. Young Hero Qin, how did it become the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce? Isn't this a scam? A few clans that had come from afar started to grumble. Their clans were 5-star clans in the Northern Sands region. If they submitted to the Square Tower, it would still be acceptable. If they casually submitted to an unknown Chamber of Commerce, they wouldn't be able to face anyone. Qin Feng didn't mind. He said indifferently, "That's how it is. Fellow cultivators who wish to leave, feel free to do so. I, Qin Feng, never mistreat my friends. Every cultivator who leaves can receive a spirit charge pill for free." Whoosh! The crowd instantly erupted. Those cultivators who had come from afar were immediately overjoyed. A few days ago, they hadn't even been able to line up for the pill sale fair. Who would have thought that they would be able to receive a spirit charge pill for free today? There were more than 100 people in the courtyard, and each of them represented a faction. Half of the cultivators left after receiving the spirit charge pill. Qin Feng didn't even look at the cultivators who had left. His gaze fell on the remaining 40 to 50 people in the courtyard. "Don't you guys wish to receive the spirit charge pill?" he asked. Someone immediately stepped forward and said, "Young hero Qin, I am Sea Medicine sect leader Huafei. I don't care about a spirit charge pill. I sincerely wish to cooperate with the China Chamber of Commerce." Qin Feng recalled the man in front of him. A few days ago at the pill store conference, Sea Medicine sect had tried to curry favor with him. Qin Feng nodded his head in satisfaction and said, "Good. Go stand over there." Huafei didn't know what was going on, but he didn't ask. He walked out of the crowd and stood alone in an empty space at the side. The remaining faction representatives were confused. Everyone realized that although Qin Feng was young, he was more shrewd and unpredictable than old fellows like them. Young hero Qin, fire-scorching Zhu family, is willing to cooperate with the China Chamber of Commerce. A moment later, another person stepped forward. Qin Feng still didn't say much. He let the fire-scorching Zhu family representative stand beside Huafei. Dongqing Shui family is willing to cooperate with young hero Qin. South Pavilion Chamber of Commerce is willing to follow the China Chamber of Commerce. Sacred Star Sect is willing to discuss important matters with young hero Qin. More and more representatives stepped forward. Although they weren't sure of Qin Feng's intentions, they had a vague feeling that Qin Feng was about to do something big. However, there were also about 20 faction representatives who left after receiving the spirit charge pill. In the end, there were only about 20 people left in the empty courtyard. Chapter 1708. Fellow cultivators, I'm glad that you chose to stay. I believe that in the near future, you will rejoice at your choice today. Since the system gave him the mission to build the #1 merchant association in the Northern Sand region, Qin Feng naturally had to develop the China Merchant Association. L0. Moreover, he had deep enmity with the current #1 merchant association, the Dragon Ascension Merchant Association. Sooner or later, they would fight it out. Everyone scratched their heads at Qin Feng's series of actions. Some people even thought that he was exaggerating a bit too much. Although most of the people who stayed were small pill workshops and sects, they did not believe that a young man like Qin Feng could lead them to anything. Young hero Qin, just say what you want to say. That's right. Since everyone chose to stay, they are on the same side as you. A few people could not hold it in anymore. Qin Feng did not keep them in suspense. Fellow cultivators, I'm not only recruiting sales agents for the Spirit Surge pill, but also recruiting members of the China Merchant Association. If you are willing to join the China Merchant Association, you can stay. If you don't like me, you could take a Spirit Surge pill and leave. No one was in a hurry to leave. Someone asked, "Young hero Qin, the China Merchant Association is not very famous. I only heard of it today. How strong is it now? How many disciples are there?" This question was on everyone's mind. They looked expectantly at Qin Feng, but received a disappointed answer. The China Merchant Association has only been established for less than a year. There are less than 100 disciples now. Everyone went silent. How could it be called a merchant association with less than 100 people? One had to know that a normal 3-star sect in the Northern Sand region had hundreds of thousands of disciples. The #1 merchant association, the Dragon Ascension Merchant Association, had hundreds of thousands of disciples. Young hero Qin, the Northern Sand region is vast and powerful. It is easier said than done to establish and develop a merchant association. Why don't we talk about the sales of the Spirit Surge pill? Someone said awkwardly. Judging from everyone else's expressions, they were probably thinking the same thing. However, Qin Feng didn't mind. The Spirit Surge pill might be a precious treasure in everyone's eyes, but it's nothing in my eyes. Perhaps many people do not know that I am also a level 3 7th grade pill king. Since he wanted to develop the merchant association and recruit people, Qin Feng did not hide his ability. Not many people knew that he was an elixir king, and none of the representatives from the small sects and pill workshops in the academy knew about it. What? Young hero Qin is actually an elixir king at such a young age? With this identity, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce does have some hope. Young hero Qin is not only an elixir king, but also the only disciple of the celestial alchemy dragon. Furthermore, he has a close relationship with the Square Tower. I think that the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce has great prospects. I will represent the Haiyao sect in joining the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. Hua Fei was the first to make a decision. Qin Feng had a good impression of this person because he had foresight. All right, then I will now appoint you as one of the branch presidents. Take these 2 bottles of pills. Hua Fei caught the jade bottle, and as soon as he opened it, he was shocked. This is a bottle of Spirit Burst pill and a bottle of Golden Sage Dan. Hua Fei was stunned. The sea medicine sect that he was in charge of was just a small elixir workshop. At most, it could refine some elixirs. It was even difficult for gold core cultivators to form elixirs. As the sect leader, Hua Fei was only at the peak of the 9th stage of the Saint King realm, and the bottle of golden sage pills that Qin Feng had given him was enough to help him break through to the first transformation of the Buddha light. Young hero Qin. No, don't worry, President Qin. In the future, our sea medicine sect will follow President Qin wholeheartedly and serve the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. After obtaining the benefits, Hua Fei immediately became determined. The rest of the cultivators could no longer remain calm, and they all stood up. President Qin, the Fire Li Zhu family is also willing to join the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce and live or die with the Chamber of Commerce. Dong Cheng Shui family. In the end, more than 20 people all chose to join the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. Some of them were sincere in following Qin Feng, but there were also a few who went for Qin Feng's elixirs. Qin Feng did not expose them, but still gave them the elixirs that they needed the most. Since everyone is sincere in joining the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce, we are now on the same side. Since that is the case, I have to say some ugly words first. I, Qin Feng, never mistreat my friends, but I will definitely not tolerate the existence of betrayal. If one day I find out that anyone here dares to betray me and the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce, I will definitely kill them. His voice was loud and clear, and it was accompanied by a burst of powerful aura that instantly enveloped the entire courtyard. The crowd was dumbfounded. Even though there were a few people whose cultivation levels were slightly higher than Qin Feng's, they did not expect Qin Feng to have stepped into the Buddhist Aura Second Transformation realm at such a young age. If he was given a few more years to develop, he would definitely become a famous and powerful expert of the new generation in the Northern Sand Continent. His identity as an elixir king, a powerful faction to back him up, and a monstrous cultivation talent. Everything that Qin Feng had shown made everyone admire him. The cultivators who originally did not think highly of the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce now had a glimmer of hope in their hearts. This time, the recruitment of the Chamber of Commerce was very successful. Qin Feng had subdued a total of 22 factions, including pill shops, clans, sects, and even 2 lone cultivators. The crowd dispersed and began to develop the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce according to Qin Feng's plan. With the addition of these factions, the first Chamber of Commerce side mission was successfully completed. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for completing the first side mission of First Chamber of Commerce. You have successfully established the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce and recruited 10 factions to strengthen the Chamber of Commerce. The system rewards host Qin Feng 100,000 Hedonist points, 1 true weapon drawing scroll, 1 energy star stone. Host Qin Feng points total, 11. 34 million Hedonist points. The system notification sounded and Qin Feng immediately checked the rewards. Not long ago, he understood the difference between spiritual weapons and true weapons. He was very interested in this true weapon drawing scroll, and the Energy Star Stone was also a good thing. Qin Feng planned to put this Energy Star Stone in the Spirit Immortal Kingdom when he had time. Draw with a slight thought. The true weapon drawing scroll disappeared, and the lottery interface appeared in the air. All sorts of true weapons flashed and spun rapidly. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for using the random true weapon drawing scroll to obtain Water Spirit True Armor. Chapter 1709. Qin Feng looked at the Energy Star Stone again. It was different from the Energy Star Stone he obtained from saving Immortal City. This stone was only the size of a ping-pong ball. It contained much less energy. Master, this Energy Star Stone is used as an energy source to complement StarTech's products. For example, the laser gun you obtained before requires a Thunder Source Stone to fire. If you replace the Thunder Source Stone with an Energy Star Stone, its power will increase by at least 10 times. Qin Feng hadn't used a laser gun ever since he came to the Divine Supreme Continent. He hadn't used the trial version of the Thunder Source Sniper Rifle, the Fire Cloud Cannon, or the Wind and Cloud Mad Demon Cannon. Because the cultivators of the Divine Supreme Continent were too powerful, they all started at the Immortal Chi stage. The power of those few StarTech products was no longer of much use. However, Qin Feng later realized that the Star Technology interface could be upgraded from 1-star technology all the way to 9-star technology. Qin Feng had already upgraded the Star Tech interface to Star Sage technology. The powerful Star Sage 1000-threaded lightning net was a product of Star Sage technology. Now that he had the Energy Star Stone, Qin Feng wondered if he should buy a gun from Star Sage technology. When the two were used together, the power would be unimaginable. In the end, Qin Feng couldn't resist the temptation and started to look at the interface of Star Sage technology. Star Sage technology had many products, and every one of them looked very powerful. However, the Hedonist points they cost were also frightening. The starting price was 1 million. Looking at the remaining 134 million Hedonist points in the system, Qin Feng set his sights on the 1 million Hedonist points products. After careful selection, he decided to buy the Star Sage 100-mile light sniper rifle. With a thought, the system notification sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have spent 1 million Hedonist points to purchase the Star Sage 100-mile light sniper rifle. Host's total Hedonist points, 134,000. A dazzling big sniper, flashing with white lightning, appeared in the air. Qin Feng reached into the air and grabbed the 100-mile light sniper rifle. The white lightning coiling around the body of the gun jumped onto his body, making him feel as if he was in the middle of a lightning source. Master, you weren't electrocuted. It seems that you really are a cultivator with lightning spiritual roots, Little Pig exclaimed. Qin Feng asked, why was I electrocuted? Master, the Star Sage 100-mile light sniper is a very unique sniper rifle. The body of the rifle is forged using the fusion of lightning. Ordinary cultivators are simply unable to use it. Anyone who touches the light sniper would be electrocuted to death. Only cultivators with lightning spiritual roots can use it. Qin Feng rolled his eyes. Why didn't you say something so important earlier? Little Pig felt wronged and said, I know Master isn't afraid of being struck by lightning. Otherwise, with Master's style of doing all sorts of bad things, you would have been struck to death 100 times over. Qin Feng was speechless. After some research, Qin Feng had a general understanding of the Star Sage 100-mile light sniper. The firing range of this laser sniper was 100 miles, which was 50 kilometers. The energy it needed to fire was a photostone, but the Energy Star Stone could also allow it to fire. This kind of energy stone seemed to be omnipotent and could replace the energy stone needed for any product in Star Technology. Sizzle. After inserting the Energy Star Stone into the 100-mile ray sniper, the white electric light around the long sniper became even more dazzling, and it even emitted a subtle electric current sound. Qin Feng really wanted to fire a shot to see how powerful it was, but when he thought about the preciousness of the Energy Star Stone, he dismissed the idea. When he broke through the first change of Buddhist aura, all of Qin Feng's defensive spirit armor had been destroyed by the 9 changes True Thunder. Now that he had obtained the Water Spirit True Armor, his defensive ability had greatly increased. Coupled with the Star Sage 100-mile light sniper, his combat power was also different from before. In the following days, the 4-direction tower was still busy refining the Spirit Charge Pill, and Qin Feng continued to recruit members of the Huaxia Chamber of Commerce. Logically speaking, the Bright Moon Tower Master should have come out of seclusion, But Qin Feng didn't see him even once these days. After thinking for a while, he decided to ask Elder Su about the situation. Apart from Elder Su, Su Baijin and Su Ruer were also in the room. Judging from their expressions, it seemed that something big had happened. Qin Feng is here. Seeing Qin Feng, the three of them finally revealed some joy on their faces. However, the smiles on their faces quickly faded, and they regained their solemn expressions. Although Qin Feng was no longer Elder Su's disciple, his relationship with Elder Su, senior brother White True, and senior sister Ru was even closer, so he didn't bother to exchange pleasantries. Elder Su, did something happen? Su Xuanfei sighed, but he didn't hide anything. Qin Feng, this concerns the survival of the Four-Direction Tower. Keep it to yourself and don't spread it. Qin Feng realized the severity of the problem, but he couldn't understand it. The Bright Moon Tower Master had already come out of seclusion and reached the Nihility God stage. Who else in the Northern Sand Continent would dare to challenge the Four-Direction Tower? What about the Four-Direction Tower's destruction? Are you wondering why the Four-Direction Tower is in danger? Actually, everyone has been fooled by the Bright Moon Tower Master. He hasn't reached the Nihility God stage at all. Qin Feng was shocked. What's going on? Everyone saw the Bright Moon Tower Master's clone appear. Isn't that the symbol of a Nihility God stage? Sigh. How infuriating. The Bright Moon Tower Master was on the verge of breaking through to the Nihility God stage when he realized that the Four-Direction Tower was in trouble. In a moment of confusion, he failed to break through and forced out his clone to intimidate Long Outyin and the others. Now, not only has his cultivation level dropped, but he has also suffered internal injuries that have damaged his spiritual core. If he can't find the White Spirit Pill within a year, his cultivation level will be stuck forever. Bastards from the Proud Dragon Merchant Guild, Su Baijin, will never let you off. The Bright Moon Tower Master is so pitiful. In order to save the Four-Direction Tower, he has fallen to such a state. Su Baijin and Su Ruer couldn't help but grumble. Qin Feng then understood the situation. He had heard that after reaching the true spirit realm, a spiritual core would be formed in one's body. As long as the spiritual core was not destroyed, one could be reborn. However, one's cultivation level would be lost. This showed how important spiritual cores were to true spirit realm cultivators. No wonder the Bright Moon Tower Master let Long Outyin and the other troublemaking cultivators go. So that's why. Qin Feng suddenly understood many things. Although the Bright Moon Brothel Master has temporarily deterred those people, they will soon realize this matter. Perhaps some of them have already realized that the Bright Moon Brothel Master's breakthrough has failed. When they come again, the four-way tower will probably be destroyed. Su Xuanfei let out another long sigh. Qin Feng frowned. Even on account of his relationship with Elder Su and the others, he couldn't just watch the Four-Direction Tower be destroyed. Elder Su, what is the White Spirit Pill? This is the first time I've heard of it. Qin Feng had already used his consciousness to scan through the Book of Memories, but he couldn't find any records of this pill. Elder Su looked confused. That is the legendary 8th grade spiritual pill. I'm not even sure if it exists. It's rumored that the White Spirit Pill is the only pill in the Divine Continent that can heal the spiritual core of true spirit realm cultivators. Its main ingredient is the inner core of the Divine Lark. Chapter 1710. Qin Feng stared blankly. He had heard of the White Spirit Bird before and knew that it really existed. This was because one of the main materials for the third godly item, imprisonment, in the system's limited edition interface was the White Spirit Feather. It seemed that the White Spirit Pill wasn't just a legend. It was an immortal pill that actually existed in the Northern Sand Continent. Elder Su, don't worry. I'll think of a way to get the White Spirit Pill. You and Elder Su Baidan just need to guard Four-Direction Tower. Qin Feng decided to help Four-Direction Tower. This was also helping himself. Elder Su and the others were stunned, and Su Ruer exclaimed, Junior brother Qin Feng, can you get the White Spirit Pill? It's hard to say whether or not I can get it now, but I know that the White Spirit Pill and the White Spirit Divine Bird really exist. In a few days, I'll go find out the whereabouts of the white spirit divine bird. As long as I can get its inner core, I can find my master to refine the white spirit pill. Since the white spirit pill was an immortal pill, Qin Feng knew that he couldn't refine it with his current alchemy skills. However, Long Qinjuan's master should be able to do it. Su Baijin and Su Ru immediately became excited as though they had seen hope. However, Elder Su still had a grave expression. He knew that the white spirit divine bird wouldn't be found so easily. Thank you for your good intentions, young hero Qin. If you can really get your hands on the white spirit pill, the Bright Moon Tower Master will definitely not treat you unfairly. In the end, Su Xuanfei still placed his hopes on Qin Feng. Given the current situation of the four-way tower, he and Su Baidan didn't dare to take even half a step out of it. Luckily, in terms of time, it wasn't too urgent. As long as they could find the white spirit pill within a year, they would be able to cure the Bright Moon Tower Master's damaged spirit pill. Moreover, even if the other factions saw that Su Mingyue had failed to break through, they would not dare to come looking for trouble. Since Su Mingyue was able to break through to Empty God Realm, it was obvious that he had stepped into peak True Spirit Realm 9. With such strength, he was definitely one of the top powerhouses in the Northern Sand Continent. After deciding on this matter, Elder Su suddenly became mysterious. Disciple of the True White, please go out for a while. Su Baijin was baffled. Huh? Master, what do you want me to do? Cough, cough. If there's nothing else, you can leave first. I have something to say to Qin Feng in private. Su Baijin quickly retreated and did not forget to say to Su Ru'er, Junior Sister Ru'er, come with me. When Su Ru'er saw that her master had asked Qin Feng to stay behind, it was obvious that he had something important to discuss. She was about to leave with Su Baijin when Su Xuanfei called out to her. Ru'er, you don't have to leave. Su Baijin and Su Ru'er were stunned. I'm not leaving. Su Ru'er pointed at her own nose with a cute, silly look on her face. Su Baijin had a silly look on his face. Master Ru'er doesn't need to leave. Why should I? Su Xuanfei wanted nothing more than to kick Su Baijin out. This disciple of his was usually quick-witted, but why was he acting like a block of wood today? Cough, cough. By the way, White Real, can you help me take a look at the progress of the new batch of Spirit Surge pills? Elder Su casually found an excuse. Qin Feng could tell that Elder Su had asked him and Su Ru'er to stay behind. Aside from feelings, what else could they be talking about? Senior Su, I'll go take a look with Senior Apprentice Brother True White. Qin Feng made his intentions clear. It wasn't that he looked down on Senior Apprentice Sister Ru'er, but that he was currently burdened with many responsibilities and didn't have the time to talk about love. Before Su Baijin could react, Qin Feng had already pulled him out. Elder Su shook his head and smiled bitterly as he watched the two of them leave. Master, why are you looking for me? Su Ru'er asked foolishly. Su Xuanfei laughed out loud. Huh, Ru'er, regardless of whether it's alchemy or cultivation, your talent is extraordinary. However, I'm really worried about your relationship. You're already over 30 years old, so it's time for you to find a man to marry. Su Ru'er's face turned red, and she pouted. Master, I'm not interested in relationships. Cultivating the heavenly Tao is the right thing to do. Su Xuanfei shook his head and said, Who says that you can't cultivate after getting married? The speed of dual cultivation is even faster. Don't try to lie to me. I can see that you have feelings for Qin Feng, but it's a pity. Su Ru'er was so embarrassed that she wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. However, she quickly realized another problem. Master, what's a pity? You really can't see it. You can't blame me for saying that you're a fool when it comes to relationships. Do you know why I left you and Qin Feng alone? I wanted to make do with the two of you. Su Xuanfei smiled bitterly. Su Ru'er exclaimed, Master, so that's your intention. Why didn't you tell me in advance? How embarrassing. Luckily, Junior Qin Feng didn't understand and left. Su Xuanfei shook his head again. My silly Ru'er, how could Qin Feng not see it? He saw through my intentions, so he found an excuse to run away. Su Ru'er was stunned. Even if she was an idiot, she could still understand Qin Feng's intentions. That brat actually rejected her? Oomph. Who does Qin Feng think he is? I, Suru, am a #1 female disciple of the Square Tower and a famous talented woman in the northern Sand Continent. I'm also the #2 gold pill refiner in the Red Flower Hall, and I've reached Saint King level 8 at the age of 30. In the entire northern Sand Continent, there are so many talented disciples from 5-star sects and clans who have pursued me, but I've never even looked at them. Yet, that Qin Feng dared to reject me? How infuriating! Suru flew into a rage and scolded Qin Feng from start to finish. Su Xuanfei smiled bitterly and left. He knew that the relationship between a man and a woman couldn't be forced. If you like someone, you would like them no matter how many flaws they had. If you didn't like someone, you would not like them no matter how good they were. Qin Feng stayed in the Square Tower for a few more days and prepared to set off in search of the White Spirit Divine Bird. He also planned to make a trip to ancient Sandtown. Back then, on the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild's airship, Qin Feng had used the primary transformation pill to exchange for a Blood Moon Stone. That Blood Moon Stone was one of the main materials for refining shackles. At that time, he had exchanged it with a rogue cultivator named Zhong Kuei. Before Zhong Kuei left, he had told Qin Feng that the Blood Moon Stone was found in an ancient martial ruins in ancient Sandtown and had given Qin Feng a map. Since a rare material like the Blood Moon Stone had appeared in the ancient martial ruins, Qin Feng planned to see if there were any other treasures. Now that he had to find the White Spirit Divine Bird, he planned to gather all the materials needed for the shackles as soon as possible and forge this powerful true weapon. Qin Feng had also made further plans. When he found the White Spirit Pill, the Huaxia Merchant Guild would probably have expanded and his cultivation level would definitely increase. When that time came, he would make a trip to the South Flat Continent and bring Hua Xianyu back. Just as Qin Feng was about to set off, he received a message from the Zhu family of Fire City. The Zhu family of Fire City was the first batch of merchant guild members that Qin Feng had subdued. The Zhu family sent a flying sword message saying that they had encountered some obstacles in their development of the Huaxia Merchant Guild and hoped that Qin Feng could go and resolve it. Chapter 17:11. After 3 days on the flying instrument, Qin Feng arrived at his destination. Fire City was a desolate city. Although it occupied a large area, it was remote and lacked spiritual energy. It was similar to a mortal spirit city. The entire Fire City was occupied by the Zhu clan. The Zhu clan was merely a newly established 4-star sect in the northern Sand Continent. No wonder they could occupy such a large city. Ordinary 5-star sects wouldn't be interested in this place, and 3-star and 4-star sects wouldn't easily seize it. However, when Qin Feng arrived, he didn't see any danger in Fire City. This is a restricted area of Fire City. Only members of the Zhu family can enter. There were disciples standing guard outside the city gates. Qin Feng swept his gaze over them. As expected, this was a newly established 4-star clan. Compared to 5-star sects and clans, the difference in strength was too great. The disciples guarding the gates were all at the immortal Qi realm, and the strongest among them was only at the mid-stage Saint King realm. I am Qin Feng. Your family head invited me here. Qin Feng introduced himself. The disciples were shocked. Qin Feng's name had spread far and wide in the North Sand Continent. Even if they hadn't seen him in person, they had heard of him. So it's young hero Qin. Please come in. The strongest Saint King quickly stepped aside. At the same time, he sighed. So this was Qin Feng. It was said that he had entered the Buddha light realm. However, he was too young. Qin Feng followed the disciples to a main hall. He saw the family head of the Zhu family, Zhu Li, sitting in the main hall. President Qin has graced us with your presence. Apologies for not going out to meet you. Seeing Qin Feng, Zhu Li quickly stood up to welcome him. He waved to the disciples and guards in the hall. All of you leave. Everyone left. Qin Feng went straight to the point. Family head Zhu, your flying sword said that the Zhu family is in trouble. I don't see any problems. An imperceptible trace of panic flashed across Zhu Li's eyes. He smiled and said, President Qin, don't be anxious. You've come all the way from Pill City. Sit down and have a good rest. I've specially prepared a sumptuous meal and wine. Let's have a drink first and talk while eating. Qin Feng sat at the short wooden table in the main hall. Zhu Li sat opposite him. The table was filled with food and wine. Qin Feng hadn't eaten for 3 days. He was really hungry. President Qin, did you come here alone? Zhu Li asked with a glass of wine in his hand. It's just me. Is there a problem? Qin Feng felt that Zhu Li's behavior was a bit strange today. Haha, of course, that's not a problem. I was thinking that if there are more disciples following President Qin here, I can send someone to entertain them. All right, let's talk about the Zhu family. What happened? Qin Feng said, waving his hand. Zhu Li was not in a hurry. He raised his glass and drank it in one gulp. President Qin, I'll give you a toast first. Let's talk after drinking this glass of wine. Qin Feng looked at him meaningfully and drank the wine. He immediately used his mind to communicate with Little Pig. Is there a problem with the wine? Master, since you guessed that the wine might be poisoned, you still dare to drink it? Little Pig pouted. Qin Feng understood Zhu Li's words. At this moment, he wanted nothing more than to slap Zhu Li to death. Back then, he had given Zhu Li so many pills and benefits, yet Zhu Li dared to betray him. However, Qin Feng suppressed his anger. The reason why he drank the wine was because there was an all-purpose antidote in the system. Qin Feng was not afraid of being poisoned. Secondly, he wanted to beat Zhu Li at his own game. He wanted to see what Zhu Li was planning. Seeing Qin Feng drink the whole glass of poison wine, Zhu Li seemed to have changed into a different person. His expression became playful. Qin Feng, you asked me what danger the Zhu family is in? Ha! I'll tell you the truth. The Zhu family is fine. Qin Feng sneered. I don't think so. Your Hua Li Zhu family will be destroyed today. Zhu Li was furious. He slammed the table and stood up. Oomph. Qin, don't think that I'm afraid of you just because you have a master. If you die here today, I don't believe that Long Qianjun will still be able to find me. Qin Feng pretended to be confused. Zhu family head, what do you mean? Why would I die in your territory? Zhu Li laughed. Ha! Qin brat, stop pretending. I know you're a cautious person and have already seen through my betrayal. But that's not important anymore. The moment you drank the poison wine, you were destined to die here. Rumble. A loud explosion sounded. Qin Feng's body surged with energy, turning the short table in front of him into dust. You want to kill me? Stop daydreaming. Zhu Li was shocked. He hurriedly circulated his energy to protect his body. He was a Buddha Light 6 changes expert, but he found that his body couldn't withstand Qin Feng's energy. In the end, he couldn't help but take a few steps back. You're not poisoned? Zhu Li cried out. Since you said that I saw through your betrayal, how could I be poisoned? That's impossible. I clearly saw you drink the poison wine. How could you? Zhu Li suddenly stopped. He remembered something important. Qin Feng was an elixir king. How could normal poison harm him? But Zhu Li quickly laughed. Ha! So what if you're not poisoned? You can only blame yourself for being too arrogant. As an elixir king, you don't even know your surname. How dare you come here alone? You deserve to die. Just as he finished speaking, a dozen or so murderous auras shot out from the room. Qin Feng's expression was solemn. These auras were all Buddha Light cultivators' auras. There were even a few that he couldn't figure out. The crowd landed on the ground and scattered around Qin Feng, surrounding him. Qin Feng quickly scanned the crowd and immediately understood. There were many familiar faces and clothes in the crowd. Red Flower Hall's Tu Chi was among them. Treasure Pill Pavilion's Lu Hui and Lu Beidong were also here. Guru Li stood with them. There were also disciples wearing Northern Dark Zhang family's clothes. Yuan Continent's Shui family and Celestial Crane Mountain's disciples, including the Fire Li Zhu family. There were 6 groups of people. Each group had a Buddha Light realm expert. As for Guru Li and Red Flower Halls by Lin and by Hua, he couldn't see through their strength. As soon as the crowd appeared, they glared at Qin Feng fiercely. An elder from Celestial Crane Mountain shouted, Grandson Qin, you dared to kill my Celestial Crane Mountain's Zhao Lei disciples. Today, this old man will take revenge for them. For trash like Zhao Lei, If Qin Fan could do it again, he would kill him again. Yuan Continent's Shui family also shouted, Shui Pingji is a genius disciple that our Shui family has nurtured. If you dare to kill him, Yuan Continent's Shui family will not rest until you are dead. Qin Fan remembered Shui Pingji. He had met him on the Soaring Dragon Merchant Guild's airship during the Sage King exchange. Shui Pingji was a sinister villain. At first, he wanted to force Qin Fan to give him the soul-condensing pill. Later, when he found the clear spirit grass on Godfall Island, he wanted to kill Qin Fan and Wen Yiming. But in the end, he was killed by Qin Fan. However, Lu Hui and Lu Beidong shouted the fiercest. Huh, Qin, you dare to slap me in the face at the pill store conference. You should have thought of this ending. Qin Fan, as long as you hand over the Spirit Surge Pills recipe, we promise to spare your life. Chapter 17:12. Qin Fan sneered. If he believed Lu Hui's words, then he must be out of his mind. There was no advertisement. You want the recipe for the Spirit Surge pill? Come and get it yourself. Qin Fan said indifferently. Lu Hui didn't think much of it. There were so many powerful cultivators here. Why would he be afraid of Qin Fan? Unless he didn't want to live anymore. Huh, weren't you very arrogant before? So there are times when you admit defeat. Lu Hui walked up to Qin Fan and didn't forget to make some sarcastic remarks. He reached out to Qin Fan with a smile on his face. Qin Fan raised his hand, and there was a gust of wind. Lu Hui's smile froze, and his body split in half. Boom! There was a loud explosion, and flesh and blood flew in all directions. Lu Hui was just a level 2 Holy King cultivator. He was nothing to Qin Fan. The crowd was stunned for a second, and then they were furious. Master Li attacked first, and the wind from his palm had already landed. Boom! At the same time, there was a loud explosion on Qin Fan's body. He didn't dodge on purpose. He used the power of Master Li's palm to fly to the open space outside the house. The crowd immediately chased after him. Elder Bai Lin of Red Flower Hall shouted with dissatisfaction, Lu Li, go easy on him. That bastard is only at the second transformation Buddha aura. If you kill him, no one will get the recipe for the Spirit Surge pill. He was shouting at Master Li. His original name was Lu Li, and he was obviously from the Treasure Pill Tower. As soon as Qin Fan landed in the yard, several black shadows surrounded him. Although he had put on the Water Spirit True Armor before he was hit, Lu Li's palm still made his blood boil. If he hadn't put on the True Armor, he probably wouldn't have been able to stand up. Qin, how dare you resist? I think you must be tired of living. Lu Beidong had the lowest cultivation level in the crowd. He and Lu Hui had come to annoy Qin Fan, but Lu Hui had already been killed by Qin Fan. Boom! Qin Fan didn't say anything and sent a hot fireball at them. He knew these people wouldn't kill him easily. Since that was the case, he would kill some ants first. Anyway, people like Lu Hui and Lu Beidong were insignificant in the eyes of Bai Lin and the others. However, he was wrong this time. Lu Beidong was Lu Li's only son. Seeing the fireball rushing towards Lu Beidong, Lu Li hurriedly flew to block it. But before she could get close to the flames, her expression changed dramatically. Purple flame? This is the 5th-ranked Earth Fire, Purple Serene Flame. Rumble. As soon as his voice fell, he watched helplessly as Lu Beidong was burnt to ashes. Lu Li immediately charged at Qin Fan as if she had gone mad. Her palms formed a hurricane vortex. Qin Brat, I want you to die a horrible death. That ferocious aura instantly enveloped Qin Fan, causing his movements to slow down. Earlier in the Great Hall, Qin Fan had observed the strength of the crowd. Among them, Lu Li's aura was the strongest. It even surpassed the existence of the 2 Red Flower Hall elders. Just as the palm wind was about to hit Qin Fan, 2 figures appeared in front of him. They were Red Flower Hall's Elder Bai Lin and Elder Bai Hua. 2 auras surged out from the 2 of them, forming a barrier in front of them. When Lu Li's palm wind landed, the barrier fluctuated violently before it finally calmed down and disappeared. What are you 2 doing? Lu Li was furious. The 2 of them had ugly expressions. Bai Lin yelled, I wanted to ask you what you were doing. If it wasn't for me and Bai Hua, that Qin brat would have already been killed by you. Didn't your Red Flower Hall gather everyone to come to Fire City to kill that brat? Lu Li lost control of her emotions after Liu Beitong died. Qin Feng will die sooner or later, but before that, let's first get the Spirit Surge Pills pill formula. Now that his body has the purple serene flame, we can't easily kill him. Bai Lin was already unwilling to talk to Lu Li. He turned around and glared at Qin Feng, yelling, "You killed many of my Red Flower Hall's disciples. Today, you won't be able to escape death. If you want to die quickly, then hand over the Spirit Surge Pills pill formula and the purple serene flame. Otherwise, not only will we kill you, but we will also find your friends and relatives and kill them one by one." Qin Feng's eyes were filled with anger. Bai Lin had already touched his reverse scale. Today, whether or not he could leave alive, he had to kill these people in front of him. Previously, when Qin Feng killed Shui Pingji, Zhao Lei, and the others on the Fallen God Island, no one should have found out. Now that the elders of the various large families and sect had come looking for him, Qin Feng guessed that it was Tu Chi who had leaked the secret. If he had known this would happen, he would have killed Tu Chi back then. Okay, I can give you the Spirit Surge Pills pill formula, but I have a request. Qin Feng's expression didn't change in the face of a group of powerful beings. Lu Li's suppressed anger exploded again. "You ant, your life is in my hands. Why do you have to talk about conditions?" Qin Feng rolled his eyes at him and said disapprovingly, "Fine, then just kill me. What's with all this nonsense? You think I don't dare to kill you?" A violent aura burst out from Lu Li's body, but before he could make a move, Bai Lin hurriedly shouted, "Tell me, what are your conditions?" Qin Feng pointed at Tu Chi and Zhu Li and said, "These two have a deep grudge against me. I want to fight them. If they can defeat me, I will hand over the Spirit Surge pill formula and the purple flame and let everyone do whatever they want of me." Everyone was stunned, completely unable to understand Qin Feng's intentions. Tu Chi was at the first transformation of Buddhist aura, and Zhu Li was at the sixth transformation of Buddhist aura. Wasn't Qin Feng courting death by asking to fight both of them at once? After a brief hesitation, Bai Lin immediately agreed. "Okay, you said it. If you lose to the two of them, hand over the Spirit Surge pill and the purple flame immediately, or I will make you wish you were dead." "Master," Tu Chi looked at Bai Lin nervously. When he and senior brother Mo Li had fought with Qin Feng in the Fallen God Sea, Qin Feng was only an 8th level Saint King. Who would have thought that Qin Feng had reached the second transformation of Buddhist aura now? How could Tu Chi have the confidence to defeat Qin Feng? However, before he could finish speaking, Bai Lin shouted in exasperation, "With Zhu Li at the 6th transformation of Buddhist aura helping you, what are you afraid of?" Tu Chi suddenly understood. Previously, how could he know what Zhu Li's cultivation level was? Now that he understood the situation, he completely looked down on Qin Feng. Perhaps he didn't even need to make a move. Senior Zhu Li could defeat Qin Feng by himself. Surname Qin Brat. That day, you used the trap formation to harm my senior brother Mo Li. I swore to avenge my senior brother and the few dead junior brothers. Today, the time has come. Brat die. After saying that, he immediately looked at Zhu Li and said, "Senior Zhu, when the battle starts, I will have to rely on Senior Zhu to be the main attacker." Zhu Li was so angry that he almost vomited blood. You don't even have the ability to speak so ruthlessly. However, he couldn't complain. After all, the Red Flower Hall was too powerful. He, a mere patriarch of the fiery Zhu family, couldn't afford to offend them. It was also for this reason that when the Red Flower Hall found him, he didn't hesitate to betray Qin Feng. "Qin Feng, don't blame this old man for being ungrateful. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for offending someone you can't afford to offend." Zhu Li shouted and charged forward with his twin axes in hand. Chapter 17:13. Whoosh! The axe Qi brought with it 2 balls of fire and instantly arrived before Qin Feng. Facing an expert with 6 changes of Buddha aura, Qin Feng didn't dare to be careless and quickly struck out with his palm. Since the purple flame was exposed, Qin Feng didn't plan to hide it anymore. The two balls of purple flame instantly swallowed Zhu Li's fire axe chi and fiercely shot toward Zhu Li. It really is a rare flame, such a powerful fire seed. Zhu Li's expression changed, and he quickly retreated. The Zhu family of the Fire Li mainly cultivated fire elemental skills, and Zhu Li himself was a fire spirit root cultivator. Even so, the fire elemental skill he used was as weak as a baby under the purple flame. He didn't even have a chance to get close to Qin Feng. "Senior Zhu, you attack, I will support you." Seeing this, Tu Chi quickly stabbed out with his sword from a tricky angle, sneakily attacking Qin Feng from behind. However, Qin Feng didn't seem to notice. He stood on his flying sword and hovered in the air without moving. Tu Chi was overjoyed. His sword went straight for Qin Feng's waist, but it seemed to be blocked by something. It couldn't pierce his body. Boom! The strong sword chi exploded, and Qin Feng's body seemed to be covered in a layer of water. The sword chi only caused some ripples, but it couldn't even pierce through Qin Feng's skin. Tu Chi, I have waited for this moment for a long time. Qin Feng suddenly turned around. He deliberately let Tu Chi stab with his sword. With the support of the water spirit true armor and his own chi, Tu Chi's attack became insignificant. "You treacherous ant! I am not that easy to kill." Tu Chi saw that the situation wasn't good, so he threw away his long sword and wanted to escape. But he didn't have a chance. A ball of purple flame instantly swallowed him. Tu Chi didn't even have the chance to scream before his body turned into ashes. The expressions of the onlookers changed. Qin Feng's strength was beyond their expectations. This kid was only at the second change of Buddha aura, but he could instantly kill Tu Chi while fighting against two Buddha aura realm cultivators. It was really incredible. The people from Red Flower Hall were furious. Bai Lin shouted at Qin Feng, "You dare to kill my disciple. I will make you die a horrible death." Qin Feng felt a strong sense of danger and hurriedly retreated. "Old thief surnamed Bai. We had an agreement. Could it be that you want to go back on your word? Since that's the case, there's no need for you to do anything. I'll deal with it myself. However, don't even think about getting the pill formula and the purple serene flame." Qin Feng said quickly. If Bai Lin and the other powerful beings attacked him at the same time, he would probably be killed in an instant. He had also thought of hiding in the astral world, but that wasn't the solution. Now that the purple flame had been exposed, and these people had threatened to kill his friends and family, how could Qin Feng let them go? Bai Lin abruptly stopped his attack before he could even launch his palm strike. He gnashed his teeth and glared at Qin Feng. He swore in his heart that once he obtained the pill formula and the purple serene flame, he would make Qin Feng suffer a fate worse than death. "Zhu Li, you trash. You're a dignified Buddha radiance at the 6th transformation realm, yet you can't even take down a junior?" Bai Hua was also suppressing a bellyful of anger and vented it out at Zhu Li. Zhu Li had long been suppressed by the purple flame to the point that he had a bellyful of anger. Now that he was being cursed by the Red Flower Hall, he couldn't get angry. In his anger, he ignored the power of the purple flame and rushed towards Qin Feng. Rumble! The two axes fell, bringing with them two fiery dragons that whistled through the air. Qin Feng immediately launched a few more palm strikes. The purple flame and the fiery dragons collided in the sky, and a huge commotion seemed to shake the mountains. The sky was dyed red, and Zhu Li's figure disappeared in the flames. Qin Feng knew that he hadn't been burned by the purple flame, because the surrounding air was filled with a dangerous aura. "Die, Qin Feng!" Suddenly, Zhu Li's strange cry came from behind him. Qin Feng turned around and launched a palm strike. The flames immediately formed a wall of fire, but this time, Zhu Li didn't retreat. Instead, he sped up and rushed toward Qin Feng. The spirit armor on his body melted piece by piece in the purple flame, and the air barrier he had created with his inner chi was burned until it became illusory. Even his face began to contort, and he looked like he was in extreme pain. But in the blink of an eye, Zhu Li broke through the wall of fire and the two axes fell towards Qin Feng's head without hesitation. Huh, Qin Feng, without the purple flame, let's see how you fight me. The two axes had already enveloped Qin Feng, and the ferocious airflow hidden within them crazily attacked Qin Feng's body. Loud explosions sounded continuously, and Bai Lin and the others were pleasantly surprised. Zhu Li, just injure him, don't kill him by accident. Someone shouted. Zhu Li quickly waved his axe a second time, but before the attack landed, he was stunned in the air. Qin Feng was like a man on fire, and his body was covered in flames. But the color of the flames had changed, and it wasn't the scarlet flames that Zhu Li's axe energy emitted, but a faint blue light. Although the flames looked gentle and calm, they brought an unprecedented sense of death to Zhu Li. Even when he faced the purple flame, it didn't feel this terrifying. The moment the spirit sunflower appeared, the surrounding temperature rose sharply, and the space was burned and distorted. Zhu Li was covered in cold sweat. It was his first time seeing such a powerful fire seed. What is that? The celestial crane mountain elder's expression changed dramatically. The Zhang family from the northern underworld kingdom and the Shui family from the Yuan continent raised their heads to look at the blue flame in the sky, but they were at a loss. However, Pill King Lu Li suddenly came to her senses and shouted in disbelief, "Spirit sunflower? That's the heavenly fire spirit sunflower, ranked 25th in the divine continent." Whoosh! The crowd was in an uproar. Qin Feng brought too much shock. Just who was this brat? Not only did he have the pill recipe of the spirit surge pill, but he also had two kinds of heavenly fire. Even the rippling armor he was wearing was not simple. For a moment, the crowd's eyes glowed with greed, like hungry wolves that had found their prey. "I don't care what kind of fire seed you have. I will destroy it all the same." Seeing that there was no way out, Zhu Li simply activated his fire attribute cultivation method and used all his inner qi, swinging his axe at Qin Feng. But this time, he didn't even touch Qin Feng's body. Only a few sparks landed on his body, and as if they had exploded, flames rose tens of meters high and burned fiercely. Zhu Li was in the flames, and it was obvious what would happen to him. The air was filled with the sound of burning flames. Two Buddha's light experts were killed by Qin Feng in less than 3 minutes, and Zhu Li had even stepped into the Buddha's light 6 transformations. Even though they had seen it with their own eyes, the crowd still couldn't accept it. Qin Feng dared to kill our patriarch. Everyone, let's kill him together. The Zhu family's disciples from the Hua Li family went crazy. Suddenly, 20 to 30 people flew towards Qin Feng from all directions, but their cultivation was too low. Qin Feng casually hit them with his palms, and the surroundings exploded. Those disciples couldn't even get within 10 meters of Qin Feng, and they were all turned into blood and flesh. Senior Bai Lin, this kid has no intention of surrendering. If this goes on, all our disciples will be killed by him. I don't care today. This old man must kill Qin Feng with my own hands. People from the 7 Stars Monastery, don't hide anymore. Quickly activate the trap formation. Today, even if we don't want the pill recipe, we must cut Qin Feng into 1,000 pieces. Chapter 17:14. The deaths of Zhu Li and Tu Qi infuriated the crowd. Along with the shouts, dozens of formation flags fell from the empty courtyard outside the house. Waves of strange energy fluctuated, and the entire place was filled with people. "Brat Qin, how dare you kill the disciples of our 7 Stars Temple? Today will be the day you die." A dozen men and women in Taoist robes flew down from the roof. Qin Feng recognized them. When they discovered the 9 dragons formation on the island in the Fallen God Sea, 7 Stars Temple's junior elder, Suin, failed to break the formation. Later, he teamed up with Red Flower Hall's Mo Li and the others to kill Qin Feng. In the end, both of them were killed by Qin Feng's trap formation. Needless to say, these people from the 7 Stars Temple must have been called here by Tu Qi. Although Tu Qi had been killed, Qin Feng wanted to kill him a few hundred times. However, this was not the time to think about other things. Dozens of formations appeared. There are trap formations, killing formations, and illusion formations. They had already surrounded Qin Feng. Huh. In order to catch me, you've really schemed and schemed. Not only did you team up with so many experts, but you've also set up a level 4 formation here. This is too embarrassing. Qin Feng sneered. He knew that he had to fight to the death today. The leader of the Seven Stars Monastery was an old man in his 60s. He stroked his white beard and said with a smile, "Kid surnamed Qin, you don't need to say those useless words. My Seven Stars Monastery has laid out a sky-piercing grand array today. If you're sensible, you'll obediently hand over the Spirit Surge Pills recipe and the Purple Serene Flame and the Spirit Sunflower." Qin Feng laughed. Haha. You have a nerve to call a dozen level 4 formations a sky-piercing formation? Your Seven Stars Monastery is a 5-star formation sect, after all. Could it be that you usually rely on your mouth to bluff your opponents? Su Mo was furious. He did not expect Qin Feng to know that this was a level 4 formation. He had wanted to fool this brat and make him kneel down and beg for mercy. He did not expect to be slapped in the face in public. Don't try to act tough in front of me. There are very few formation masters in the northern sand continent. A level 4 formation is already considered a big formation. Now that I've led the disciples of the Seven Stars Temple to set up dozens of level 4 formations, who else in the northern sand continent other than the Seven Stars Temple could do this? So, a level 4 array formation is called a grand array in your eyes. I'm laughing my head off. Although Qin Feng looked relaxed, it was mostly an act. Currently, he had only stepped into the early stages of a grade 4 array master. Although he had a way to break the array formation in the courtyard, it would still require some effort. Now that he was surrounded by a group of Buddha Light Realm cultivators, how could these people give him a chance to break the formation? You're an ant who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How dare you speak so arrogantly in front of the Seven Star Monastery? Fine, I'll let you experience the power of these formations. Su Mo was furious. She winked at the 3 disciples, and they immediately rushed into the formation. Before the silhouettes could reach Qin Feng, the 3 of them threw out several array flags at the same time. The array flags were made of some unknown material and disappeared the moment they touched the ground. However, there were several loud whooshing sounds in the air, and the shadows of swords and knives appeared in the originally peaceful courtyard. The cultivators from the other sects and clans were amazed. They knew very little about formations, but Qin Feng seemed to be prepared. He casually clapped a few times, and the killing intent that appeared out of nowhere immediately dissipated. Huh, is this the so-called big formation of the Seven Star Monastery? It's really an eye-opener for me. The crowd was stunned. Bai Lin and the others did not understand what was going on. They thought that the people from the Seven Star Monastery could not be so trashy that the formation that they had set up for 3 days and 3 nights was instantly broken by Qin Feng. Even Su Mo Yin and the disciples were stunned. Unless Qin Feng saw through the rules of the 3 level 4 killing formations, how could he avoid all the killing intent unscathed? Su Mo Yin would never believe that he could see through a LV4 formation. You're really lucky. I like to see how long you can be so lucky. What are you waiting for? Activate the trap formation and teach him a lesson. Su Mo Yin quickly came back to his senses. He absolutely did not believe that Qin Feng could see through the formation eye of the level 4 killing formation. There were only a few level 4 array masters in the entire 7-star monastery, and all of them were over 60 years old. Qin Feng was not even 30. How could it be possible? With a roar, the 3 disciples suddenly came to their senses. The dazed look in their eyes instantly disappeared, and they threw a few more array flags on the ground. Buzz! Waves of energy fluctuated. The originally empty courtyard was divided into several spaces, and Qin Feng was trapped in one of the spaces. 4 sky-reaching walls appeared around him, and the space inside the walls was only about 3 to 4 square meters, which was not much bigger than the bathroom of an ordinary family. Swoosh! 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 As soon as the trap formation was activated, The 3 killing formations were activated again. Suddenly, the sound of swords echoed, and fierce attacks were shot toward the space where Qin Feng was. This series of formation attacks stunned the crowd. Even Bai Lin, Lu Li, and the others looked serious. They thought that if they were trapped in the formation, they would not be able to hold on for more than 30 minutes. You people from the 7-star monastery are too naive to think that a trap formation can take me down. Also, these 3 killing arrays are practically non-existent. Only your 7 stars monastery can set up such a broken array formation. Qin Feng was able to avoid all the killing intents in the trap formation. However, the space was too small, and he was hit by the killing formation a few times. He pretended to be fine, and even deliberately said things to provoke Su Mo Yin. "Ah, you bastard, I wanted to spare your life, but you're asking for it. Kill him." Su Mo Yin was furious after being insulted in front of everyone. The disciples of the 7-star monastery were also furious, and the rest of them flew into the formation. For a moment, the formation flags scattered like flowers. More than a dozen formations in the courtyard were activated at the same time, and the killing intents filled the courtyard. Even Lu Li and the others who were outside the formation felt a trace of fear. "Su Mo Yin, what are you doing? Don't kill that guy. Ask your disciples to show mercy. Just seriously injure Qin Feng so that he can't escape." When they came back to their senses, they screamed in fear. If Qin Feng was really killed by the formation of the 7-star monastery, the plan that they had been working on for the past few days would be ruined. However, it was too late. Even if Su Mo Yin wanted to stop the disciples, she found that they had completely activated all the formations, and they could not stop for a while. Meanwhile, Qin Feng was trapped in a level 4 trap formation. He was attacked by 6 to 7 killing formations and 2 illusion formations at the same time. Even Su Mo Yin believed that she would definitely die if she fell into the trap formation, let alone Qin Feng. "I told you that the formation of the 7-star monastery is too shabby. Today, I, Qin Feng, will give you a taste of your own medicine." Just when the crowd was in despair, Qin Feng's voice came from the formation. He waved his hand, and dozens of formation flags flew out. The wall that trapped him suddenly disappeared, and the disciples of the 7-star monastery were trapped inside. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.